ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। अष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमावों विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। So, 1 minute, I am just joining the Zoom. So we are discussing chapter 11, Lord visiting, Lord entering Dwaraka. We'll just see quick overview and then make me the co-host. Chapter 11. Hmm. Yes. So this chapter starts with how Lord Krishna entering into Dwaraka, and at the outskirts of the city, all the citizens came to welcome the Lord. That expressions and the prayers are the presents and glorification, basically. Two things we saw yesterday. Lord blew the conch shell, and by hearing the conch shell, everyone everyone was very much attracted to come towards Lord, and they were approaching the Lord, and after approaching, they offer to the Lord their presents. Their presents are compared to, yesterday we have seen their presents are compared to, examples like they are given. Yeah, offering a lamp to the sun. All their presents are compared to just like a small lamp offering to the sun. And then we are seeing that how they glorified the Lord. By following you, we will become success. Yasya anuvritya krutino bhuvima bhavaya nastam bhavavishvabhavana. So you are our mother, our father, our Sruhutpati. Everything is you only. And then also we have seen Aho Sanatha. We became Sanatha now. Till now we are like Anatha, but just by taking shelter of you, we are becoming Sanatha. Bhavatasma Yadvayam. Though you are very rare to be seen by the demigods, Tripishtamanamapi Duradarshanam. So that was a rarity, but at the same time, we got that opportunity again to be under your shelter. So then citizens welcome the Lord. Then Lord is entering into palace, entering into city. It is just like outskirt, and is going more and more in inner city. So the inner city is also one more kind of a invitation, or one more kind of welcome will be there by all the different citizens, especially by different categories, brahmanas and other categories of people will come. Even prostitute also come, Prabhupada explains. And all the kings are there coming now. Now citizens welcome is over. Now we'll enter into more deeper into the city. City is glorified. City is also glorified. How it is decorated for the welcome. In these next verses, 11 to 15, Dwarka city is described. And then their prayers are their welcome. It's not going. Mm. So Lord's reciprocation with reception. He also reciprocates with them according to their desires, according to their position. Lord also gives respect and honor, even to the extent those who are eating dogs. That is also considered. Lord is so kind that He is reciprocating with them also. That's why Dwaraka is a city, though it's a great city, but every categories are there. All the categories are there in Dwarka city. And then Lord's attractive beauty is explained. How Lord is being accompanied by many personalities with different things. Just like in Dwarak, just like in Hastinapur, he was accompanied till last point, and here also he was accompanied. And then almost last but one section is the Lord's dealing. Now he entered into quarters. So first entrance is into the main entrance where there was a welcome by citizens. That was the main entrance. And after that, another entrance, a small kind of entrance into kind of a actual city where all these personalities came and welcoming the Lord as well. And then he enters into quarters. So there he is dealing with mothers and queens, is explained 28 to 35. And transcendental character. After entering, what all exchanges happen, and what is the nature of the Lord, what is the nature of the, especially the topmost devotees, the queens, as explained in 36 to 39. That's how the chapter ends. But all this chapter and previous chapter also, and almost in 9th chapter also, 9, 10, 11, did you heard anything? Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Did you heard any Bhagavan Uvacha? No, there was no kind of, Lord didn't spoke anything at all. Of course, there was one word, Achutoktam Bhishmoktam, that by that Vimudha, Vibhrama, that Yudhishthira Maharaj, Vibhrama were cleansed by Bhishmoktam and Achutoktam. One word came, but there was no any direct Krishna speaking or any conversation, but it's all exchanges. Lord is just exchanging his reciprocation of the citizens of Hastinapur and Dwarakavasis. It's all very subtle, very, very fine exchanges are going on. So thinking kaya manasa vacha. So there were no any kind of a speech directly, but it's only more of a gestures and reciprocations for their loving dealings of the devotees. So we can see the very, very subtle and fine exchanges are going on in these chapters. So the nature of the Lord is also very much glorified in last section. We will try to focus more on that section where the transcendental character of the Lord and his devotees, especially the queens, are glorified in those verses, famous verses also. And then later questions will come again. Sota Goswami will be asked, "Oh, we detoured. Let us hear about again Parikshit Maharaj. We asked a question about birth of Parikshit Maharaj. Now he starts. Sota Goswami he goes back to narrating Parikshit Maharaj's birth. After again, Sonagurushi reminds, "Oh, you told that you will tell about birth and activities." Then he goes to birth of Parikshit Maharaj in the 12th chapter. So that's how these 11th chapter continues. We saw the first two sections, almost ending the second section. We are in 8th verse. 8th, I think yesterday we have seen 8th verse. Able to see? Are you able to see? Okay, yesterday we have seen recited this verse. Any more points? Okay, we'll start with 9. 6, 9. यर्ह्यम्बुजाक्षापससारभो भवान् पुरोन्मधोन्वात सुहृद्दिदृक्षया तत्राब्धकोटिप्रतिमः क्षणो भवेत् रविं विनाक्ष्णोर्यवनस्त्वयाच्युत. Please read.
O Lotusite Lord, whenever you go away to Mathura, Vrindavan, or Hastinapur to meet your friends and relatives, every moment of your absence seems like millions of years. O infallible one, at that time our eyes become useless, as if bereft of the sun.
So this section 8 to 10, citizens, they are glorifying and they are welcoming the Lord. So they're expressing their feelings here, more intimate feelings, that whenever you go to different places, we feel as if without sun. Eyes without sun, does they have any value? So that's how your presence matters to us. I mean, without sun, eyes doesn't have any value at all. Without you, basically, we don't have any value. We can't live without you. That's their feeling, and they're expressing here with an analogy. When you give analogy, it makes a point quite emphatic. So that's how they are using. So the mood of separation, we have definitely the whole Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta, the epitome is feelings of separation. So the feelings of separations are explained here. We also sing every day. Yugayitam nimeshena chakshusha praurushayitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. So without Govinda's presence, everything becomes void. We can't see. Though shunyayitam jagat sarvam, though jagat is there, but it appears to be shunya. So that's the response to the absence of a particular thing or person reveals the intensity of love for the thing or a person. The response that we have when there is absence of a particular thing in our life, That shows the intimacy, when we lose mobile or when we misplace our mobile, then that brings out how much attachment we have for the mobile. When there is a thing is lacking or when the thing is not present, then that shows in that situation we come to know how much we are attached actually. So here they are expressing. So when we are not there, it's as if we are. I mean, we don't have any value. Ice doesn't have any value, just like sun. So that's the mood of the verse, that we are feeling very much void. Everything we are not feeling, as if we don't have any life at all. So how much we understand what is our internal response to the absence of particular item of morning program? Do we feel when we miss morning programs, either train or when we go to home, or at least I don't feel anything at all. We missed a morning limb, either Guru Puja or some Darshanarti or any of the part of the morning program. When we miss Bhagavatam, uh, okay, chalega, kya hua? Nothing happens. Our life continues. So we don't feel any kind of absence because we don't have much attachment to them. Basically, that shows that reflects in we are not much attached. We are not developed uh, much attachment to those limbs right now also. So we are trying to endeavor to develop attachment to those limbs. Not only the limbs of morning program, but to the personalities of morning program. The morning program is more about personalities, trying to relate to personality and developing relationship with the personalities of morning program. So the more we become attached or developing relation, then we can definitely feel. One time, His Grace Shri Guru Charan Prabhu was sharing in a Brahmachari class. He was traveling with His Holiness Navayogandra Swami Maharaj. In the evening, it was time, and they were going in a car to evening program he was taking. And when it became 7, so Navayogandra Swami Maharaj said to Shri Guru Charan Prabhu, so it's my time to my Gaur Arati. So then he started singing Gaur Arati. So he was very much surprised and taken very much that he said that this is my time for my Gaur Arati. So he had that personal developing attachment to kind of program. It's my time for my Gaur Arati. So we also hear from many devotees of disciples of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Wherever he is, 7 o'clock in the morning, Guru Puja. Wherever he is, either he's in train, no, of course he's not train, but in car or plane, wherever he is, it's my Guru Puja. I need to do it. So that's a personal attachment. So we are trying to develop an attachment. So when we miss, we at least there should have some internal response that I missed it something in the morning program, either Sikshastakam or repeated recitations. So that shows the attachment, and lacking that we can try to judge where we are lacking. But what is our special response when we miss particular item in prasad? Right? Just like Thursday, a feast was there. We ask all the okay, what were the different items, and we try to. I mean, we respond very much. At least I am. Oh, we missed it. So that response indicates something internal. What is there? Where we are attached. So there's a beautiful anecdote, not anecdote, but some expressions of Raghunath Das Goswami. He is feeling that when Rupan Sanatan, when he felt that their absence, when Rupan Sanatan disappeared from this planet early than Raghunath Das Goswami. So when they left, so he was feeling that Radhakund is as if like a gape of a monster, gape of monster like a lion or big animal, monster, gape is opening his mouth and trying to devour me. He's saying about Radhakund. And he's saying about Govardhan is looking like me, a python, big python, long python, big, thick python. We aspire to go there and reside there and do bhajan there. And no, I 3 verses are spoken at such a glorifying, such a glorification by Rupa Goswami of the 3 verses, Radha Kund and Govardhan, etc. But what Raghunath Das is feeling is different. So he's attached to Rupa and Sanatan. That attachment is showing in a different feeling, is expressing in that. So this shows that attachment to them, how he's attached to their association. So in some cases we can see how we are feeling our own when our own things lost or misplaced. We feel so much. We feel when we misplace our chappal or misplace any belongings, we frantically search for them. So, but that we don't feel the loss of Krishna or loss of connection to Krishna in the same way. Of course, it's because of conditionings. Yeah.
Separation of Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami is feeling in these ways. But I always had this doubt that it's one thing that he's saying that it has reduced the, like, in their absence, I'm not feeling that much value for these places.
Correct.
But why is he giving such negative connotations about the places?
That's intensity.
It's very negative kind
Yeah.
of Python and monster.
And he's feeling such a intense emotions, negative emotions. Their feeling is, I mean, he's expressing that, but basically it shows intensity, as if they are like a big python. When you say some contrary, when you contrast with such a negative thing, it shows attachment, how much attached to me. Intensity is showing basically. And when you say a very strong way, contrasting in a strong way, that basically shows that intensity only. Examples may be different, but the main thing is about intensity. Just like some person asks me, let us suppose he's asking, Prabhuji, can you give me your mobile? Few seconds. I will not give you. This is one response. Even if I die, I will not give you. If I say, then that response is, अरे मैं खाली मोबाइल पूछा आप इतना क्यों बोलना है? Even if I die, I will not give means what? It's such a strong hate is there with you. The internal hate is so much with your relationship that even if I die, I will not give. Means what? I am not willing to. I am not giving at all. So just like Duryodhan, I'm just giving example for intensity understanding. He could have said to Pandavas, hey, we will not give. Or he could have said, okay, you take very remote villages or something, or we will not give 5 villages. That saying is one thing. What he said? He said, I will not give you a pinch of land which can stay on the tip of the needle. What does it mean? He's showing such an intense hatred towards that person. I will not give 5 lands. What he will do? He could have said. But in saying and expressing that intensity comes out. So that intensity is expressed by giving this negative, very negative example. So how much am I am attached to them? So that intensity is shown, but in a very negative way. Just like Rupa Goswami giving example of that don't go to Keshi Ghat. If you see, then you have to, there will be different effect on you. So don't why that's why don't go to Keshi Ghat at all. But his inner meaning is different. So these are some expressions, their feelings. Okay, basically this verse is saying that their feelings of separation from the Lord, they're expressing here. That when you go to different station, when you are out of station, we are very much bereft. We are feeling very much void internally. So Prabhupada brings out the point that how actually the senses are useless without the presence of sun. He's saying we are all proud. Please read this one. Starting para. Purport.
We are all proud of our material senses for making experiments to determine the existence of God. But we forget that our senses are not absolute by themselves.
Mm.
They can act only under certain conditions. For example, our eyes. As long as the sunshine is there, our eyes are useful to a certain extent. But in the absence of sunshine, the eyes are useless. Lord Shri Krishna, being the primeval Lord, the supreme truth, is compared to the sun. Without him, all our knowledge is either false or partial.
So here, Prabhupada very beautifully mentions, brought out the point. Just like you see, you try to imagine one half is like sun is there, and our eyes are, we are seeing with eyes we are seeing some objects. Now in another way, now he's comparing sun with Krishna. With Krishna, we are there, and by only through Krishna's knowledge or Krishna's view, we can see everything in relation to Krishna. How it relates everything to Krishna, just like sun is giving, revealing everything. That's so by having Krishna in our life, having Krishna in the sense that having knowledge given by Krishna or having a relation through Krishna, we can see everything in related, everything in a proper perspective. That's how Prabhupada is bringing out the internal meaning at this point. The same thing. So just like if Krishna is not there, and then Maya will be there, and everything we see in illusion, we don't see in a proper perspective. Just like without sun, we can't see anything properly. Similarly, with Krishna, we can see everything in true perspective. Without Krishna, we don't see. We will see only illusion. So that's why. What is summary? Summary you read.
As we cannot see anything in the absence of the sun, so also we cannot see anything, including our own self, without the factual presence of the Lord. Without him, all our knowledge is covered by illusion.
So that's why we need to bring Krishna, be illumined in Krishna's shrine or be illusioned in Maya's shrine. So that's how we need to see through Krishna everything, then only we will not put into Maya. So even Gita 13th chapter mentions that as a Paramatma is there in our hearts, when we are trying to see through Paramatma or trying to see Paramatma in everyone's heart, then our mind will not be deluded. 13.29 says that we will not be envy or we will not be deluded by seeing presence of Paramatma in everyone. Of course, that comes by trying to gain knowledge from the spiritual master, that vision of revealing Krishna. So text 10, continuing the theme. Katam vayam natachiroshite tvayi prasanna drashta kila tapatoshanam jive mate sundarahasa shobhitam apashyamana vadanam manoharam iti chodidayatavacha prajanam bhaktavatsalaha shunmano nugraham drashtya with Tanvan Pravishatpuram. Here it came again. Pravishatpuram. Again it came. See, this 10th verse is saying Pravishatpuram. That's how he entered again Pravishatpuram. He entered the city.
Oh, Master, if you live abroad all the time, then we cannot look at your attractive face, whose satisfied smiles vanquish all our sufferings. How can we exist without your presence? Upon hearing their speeches, the Lord, who is very kind to the citizens and the devotees, entered the city of Dwarka and acknowledged all their greetings by casting his transcendental glance over them.
So Krishna entered city and that's how they are welcoming now. I mean, at the skirts, they welcomed after just entering the city. But this is the main entrance into the city of Dwaraka. Now, the actual Dwaraka, how it is decorated, how it is glorified, we will see after this verse. So, what Prabhupada is saying here, Lord Krishna is attraction is so powerful that once being attracted by him, one cannot tolerate separation from him. Why is this so? Prabhupada explains how we are all eternally related. That relationship is there. Okay, you can read. You can read. Why this is so?
Why this is so? First, because we are all eternally related with Him, as the sun rays are eternally related with the sun disk. The sun rays are molecular parts of the solar radiation. Thus, the sun rays and the sun cannot be separated. The separation by the cloud is temporary and artificial, and as soon as the cloud is cleared, the sun rays again display their natural effulgence in the presence of the sun. Similarly, the living entities who are molecular parts of the whole spirit are separated from the Lord by the artificial covering of Maya, the illusory energy. This illusory energy or the curtain of Maya has to be removed. And when it is so done, the living entity can see the Lord face to face, and all his miseries are at once removed. Every one of us wants to remove the miseries of life, but we do not know how to do it. The solution is given here, and it rests on us to assimilate it or not.
Prabhupada's profound statements based on the statement that how Krishna is so attractive, that attractiveness of Krishna, how we are unable to be attracted to Krishna, that's a great mystery for devotees. Pure devotees sees that why people are are not attracted to Krishna, why they are suffering so much, why they are trying to enjoy with some toys and with some things which are charvita charvananam. What is that? Punah charvita charvananam. So that's how they feel. We are, but unfortunately, the conditioned soul are not attracted to Krishna. So Prabhupada is revealing here that this is because we forgot our relationship, but still the curtain of Maya is there. What is that curtain of Maya? Huh? Attachments. What else? What is the curtain of Maya? Any reflection? This illusion energy, the curtain of Maya, has to be removed. Avidya, ignorance of our relationship. Anything else? Why we are not attracted to Krishna? What is stopping? What is the root cause? We want to imitate Krishna. Very close. We are envious of Krishna for what?
Want to enjoy separately from Krishna.
How to enjoy? How to enjoy separately from Krishna? That enjoying mentality is the root, that we enjoy separately from Krishna. That's how the ignorance comes in. Everything happens. That service attitude opens the curtains. Just like every day we see in 7:30 or 4:30, curtains open. I don't know whether you have been to Tirupati or some South Indian temples. The curtain opens in different way. The curtain opens like a cinema theater. It goes like that. It goes from bottom, From bottom, it goes to top. It's in Tirupati especially, and Vijayawada also. Yeah. Tirupati is gone and Vijayawada is gone. They have motor system, and slowly the curtain goes from down to top. It's like it goes from lotus feet is revealed and lotus thighs and lotus feet. Slowly it goes to the curtain. So that's a beautiful way of revealing Krishna. And some temples, I think they have this also in a automatic way. Some motor they have. Very slowly it goes. I think I saw in Bangalore, they have a system like that. But anyway, the curtain has to be lifted either in any way. But the service attitude transforms the thick curtain that we are unable to see Krishna. It becomes slowly, slowly transparent. When the curtain is thick and we can't see anything, but when it is becoming like transparent like this, little, and we can see something is coming from that side. If it is fully transparent like glass, then we can see what is there behind also. So the more we change our attitudes from enjoying mentality to service attitude, the more Krishna reveals. Just like Gopala Bhatta Goswami, by his service attitude, he wanted to serve Krishna so much. Krishna revealed from Shaligram into a form. So Krishna reveals to receive our service. So Prabhupada profoundly says that the solution is given here and it rests on us to assimilate it or not. So all this mentioning that every one of us want to remove the miseries, but we do not know how to do it. The solution is given here. How? What is the solution given here? What is expressing here? What Prabhupada is saying? The solution is given here. What does it mean? Remove the curtain. Correct. What Dwarkavasis are doing? Taking shelter. Taking shelter. You are our Lord. You are our everything. You are Mata. You are Pita. We are your Suhrut. You are everything. We take shelter to be successful. Without you, we are nothing. So this is the attitude. This is the mood that we need to. This is the solution given here. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. So that is the Prabhupada's main essential lesson given to especially for Gurukul as a theme Prabhupada gave. This you teach to the students. That's it. These 4 things to be taught to the children. That is the main lesson to be taught. So if a person perfects in this, his life is perfect. So that is the essence, taking shelter of the Lord. And 1866 also, the Sarvadharman Parityaja, what is the components of surrender? Was spoken in 65. Yeah, the components of surrender. Of course, 6 limbas of surrender are different, but the components of surrender are spoken in 65. Just these 4 things are the final things, essence of everything. So that's the main solution Prabhupada is mentioning here, but it's rests on us to assimilate it or not. Prabhupada is giving us responsibility, showing us responsibility. It's on us. It's on our shoulders now. So now he's actually entering the main city. He also entered into city, but he's actually entering the main city now. Now the camera is on to city. How is the city now? What are the different arrangements that are made to welcome the Lord? Because some devotees or some messengers will go and tell that the Lord is coming now. Right now, previously that was a system. If anybody is coming or they go, advance party will go and inform. Okay, Lord is coming, and so that's how they are all prepared and decorated the city, just like Ayodhya when Lord Ram was coming. The intimation was given, and everybody is prepared to welcome the Lord into the kingdom. So that's how here and the decorations were explained here. The decoration shows their love. Expression of love externally shows how they are inviting. Just like we also tried to do some kind of a welcome. Of course, then there was a opening of NVCC. The welcome was very much pompous, with many gorgeous welcome. I was not there. I was in kitchen, but many told me the welcome was so gorgeous and opulent. So that's how we express our love by doing many things, decorating the roads, decorating the houses, and decorating the doors, the doors, etc., toranas, etc., everything. Please repeat. Text 11. Madhuboja dasharharha koha kandaka vrishnibi atmatulya balairgupta nagair bojagavatim jiva. Read.
As Bhogavati, the capital of Nagaloka, is protected by the Nagas, so was Dwarka protected by the descendants of Vrishni, the Bhojas, Madhus, the Sarhas, Arhas, Kukuras, Andhakas, etc., who were as strong as Lord Krishna.
Initially, just spoken how the external protection is there for the city. Sarvartu sarvavai vibhava punya vrkshalatashramai udyanopavanaarmavai vrita padmakarashriyam.
The city of Dwarkapuri was filled with the opulences of all seasons. There were hermitages, orchards, orchards, flower gardens, parks, and reservoirs of water breeding lotus flowers all over.
So the natural opulence. Natural opulence is orchard, flower gardens, and parks, etc. Everything. Natural opulences are explained. Prabhupada compares with the modern and Vedic civilization. Read the first para.
Perfection of human civilization is made possible by utilizing the gifts of nature in their own way. As we find herewith in the description of its opulence, Dwarka was surrounded by flower gardens and fruit orchards, along with reservoirs of water where lotuses grew. There is no mention of mills and factories supported by slaughterhouses, which are the necessary paraphernalia of the modern metropolis.
Continue.
The propensity to utilize nature's own gifts is still there. Even in the heart of modern civilized men, the leaders of modern civilization select their own residential quarters in a place where there are such naturally beautiful gardens and reservoirs of water, but they leave the common man to reside in congested areas without parks and gardens. Herein, of course, we find a different description of the city of Dwarka. It is understood that the whole Dham residential quarters was surrounded by such gardens and parks with reservoirs of water where lotuses grew. It is understood that all the people depended on nature's gifts of fruits and flowers without industrial enterprises promoting filthy huts and slums for residential quarters. Advancement of civilization is estimated not on the growth of mills and factories to deteriorate the finer instincts of the human being, but on developing the potent spiritual instincts of human beings and giving them a chance to go back to Godhead. Development of factories and mills is called Ugra Karma or pungent activities, and such activities deteriorate the finer sentiments of the human being and turn society into a dungeon of devils.
So the civilization, how we are far from that the natural civilization, Vedic civilization, but still best to the bad bargain. Wherever we are, we try our level best to make at least our surroundings more natural, because that natural things bring out the atmosphere and it affects our consciousness very, very much. When you go to villages, etc., we see immediate change. Even if you're just going out of city, going to even Vella also, it has a different effect, right or wrong. Yeah, it's entirely different. When you enter into village, it has a different influence on our consciousness. So that's how the influence, we are together. The nature, Krishna made such a system, that's a beautiful system, that we are with nature. We are very synchronous with nature. But unfortunately, mills and factories deteriorate the finer instincts of the human being. But still, we try to take advantage whenever we spend some time to experience that atmosphere. At the same time, we carry on our services. So, but yeah, that effect is there on the human consciousness to improve our spiritual life. गोपुरद्वार मार्गेषु कृत कौतुक तोरणं चित्रध्वज पताकाग्रैर् अन्त प्रतिहतातापम्.
The city gateway, the household doors, and the festooned arches along the roads were all nicely decorated with festive signs like plantain trees and mango leaves, all to welcome the Lord. Flags, garlands, and signs painted with slogans all combined to shade the sunshine.
So these are all a sign of auspiciousness. Prabhupada writes also that mango trees, coconut palms, and plain plantain trees are very, very considered auspicious. And they give also to the eyes very kind of wonderful decorations they become. That's how become great festival. Prabhupada mentions the Garuda and Hanuman flags are always been there for festivals in different cities. This is all for the satisfaction of the Lord. Read the last line. Prabhupada very beautifully mentions, by devotees.
By devotees, such paintings and decorations are still adored. And thus the servitor of the master is paid more respects for the satisfaction of the Lord.
So when they are shown, they are like servitors of the Lord. By seeing them, Lord is more pleased. That's what the point. Paid more respects for satisfaction of the Lord. So these are all to increase. So here, wherever we are, either our rooms or wherever we are sitting or at the temples, so the atmosphere has a huge impact. At least anyway, we are supposed to be always clean. cleanliness next to godliness, Prabhupada mentions. We should be always clean, not only just mundane cleanliness, but also spiritualizing the atmosphere with these natural things. And we keep all spiritual objects that remind us more and more Krishna, so that our consciousness is very much affected wherever we are. Things has to be clean and things has to be in order. That makes our consciousness more vibrant to remember Krishna and to receive Krishna more. Sammarjita Mahamarga Ratyapang Pang Adhyapanaka Chatvaram Siktam Gandharvairuktam Phalapushpam Puraihi.
Highways, subways, lanes, markets, and public meeting places were all thoroughly cleansed and then moistened with scented water. And to welcome the Lord, fruits, flowers, and unbroken seeds were strewn everywhere.
These are all signs of auspiciousness. They considered. Prabhupada also mentions in the purport. Sign of respect, devotion, want to please the guest, brings this bringing auspiciousness. Now, these are all aspects of welcoming. It shows the respect, it shows our devotion, and we are trying to please the guests by arranging things that are very pleasing to them. And it also brings auspiciousness. And it's also a mode of goodness and beyond. These are all items which invoke mode of goodness. Please read.
Unbroken seeds of grains or fruits in the seedling stage were considered auspiciousness. And they are still so used by the Hindus in general on festival days.
Sign of auspiciousness. 15. Dvari dvari grahanam cha dadyakshata phalekshubhihi alankritam purna kumbhair balibhir dhupa deepakaihi.
In each and every door of the residential houses, auspicious things like yogurt, unbroken fruits, sugarcane, and full water pot with articles for worship, along with incense and candles, were all displayed.
Yeah, even sugarcane, sticks are considered very auspicious. They also they keep sugarcane in Maharashtra also. And in South India, generally they have plantain like banana plants and banana leaves, coconut leaves, etc. Mango leaves. These are all very, very beautiful to look at also. Very auspicious. Read this one.
The process of reception according to the Vedic rites is not at all dry. The reception all made not simply by decorating the roads and streets as above mentioned, but by worshipping the Lord with requisite ingredients like incense, lamps, and flowers, along with sweets, fruits, and other palatable eatables according to one's capacity.
Not only just decorating the mundane decoration, but it's meant to please the Lord. And also the main thing is to worship the Lord with incense, lamps, and flowers, and offering the whatever with love and devotion, whatever we make according to our capacity. So we offer to the Lord. So that is the main point. So we welcome the Lord in such a way.
Each and every house was ready to receive the Lord in a similar way, and thus each and every house on the roads and street distributed such remnants of fruits to the citizen, and therefore the festival was successful. Without distribution of food, no function is complete, and that is the way of Vedic culture.
Without prasad, nothing completes. So Prabhupada mentioning here that how each and every house they are in such a mood that, oh, Lord is coming into my house. In that mood, they are decorating their houses. Just like in our anniversary, every department decorates. Every department decorates and welcomes the Lord, gives arati and offers whatever they have, whatever their capacity and whatever item they make. So that's how Lord is welcomed into that. That's how their mood. Even when Lord Ram is coming to Ayodhya, when he was entering, every house is decorated like that to invite the Lord. Nishamya preshtam ayantam vasudevo mahamanaha akruraschograsenascha ramascha vikramaha pradyumnascha charudeshnascha sambho jambavati sutaha praharsha vegoscha shita shayanasana bhojana.
On hearing that the most dear Krishna was approaching Dwaraka Dham, magnanimous Vasudeva, Akrura, Ugrasena, Balaram, superhumanly powerful Pradyumna, Charudeshna, and Samba, the son of Jambavati, all extremely happy, abandoned resting, sitting, and dining.
So the moment they just heard that Krishna is coming, because the news might have went little inside quarters, because already Lord entered into city right now. So he's just coming into the main city now. So when they heard the Lord is coming, they are immediately abandoned everything and rushing towards Krishna. Even when Krishna called with his flute, it said that everybody is running to Krishna, giving up everything, whatever they had. Even when Krishna entered to Mathura, same description comes that when Krishna is entering into Mathura streets, everybody was very much eager to see, because till that time they were only hearing about Krishna. 10 years, 10 more than 11 years about Krishna's pastimes and Krishna's wonderful nature and his activities and his glory. So who is that Krishna? Who is that Balaram? So everybody was so eager to see. It said that they left everything, whatever they might be doing. That's the eagerness. It shows the eagerness to receive Krishna or to have darshan of Krishna, to please Krishna. So definitely when we welcome our guests, when the guests are coming, according to our feasibility, we need to make a point to go there and to receive the guest who are visiting to the temple. That's also kind of a welcoming the Lord. Whatever 64 principles are mentioned in Nectar of Devotion, they also apply to a devotee, pure devotee. That's what Acharya's comment, that they can also be applied to pure devotees case also. So in that way, we welcome them, we receive them. So that is also very much pleasing to the Lord by respecting them. So Prabhupada explains very elaborately about different personalities here. Every personality Prabhupada explains. Akrura and Ugrasena, Baladev, all the personalities. What he says about Baladev? Please read this one.
Because he is as powerful as Lord Krishna and can bestow spiritual power to the devotees, he is therefore known as Baladev. In the Vedas also it is enjoined that no one can know the Supreme Lord without being favored by Baladev. Bala means spiritual strength, not physical. Some less intelligent person interpret Bala as the strength of the body. But no one can have spiritual realization by physical strength. Physical strength ends with the end of the physical body, but spiritual strength follows the spirit soul to the next transmigration, and therefore the strength obtained by Baladev is never wasted. The strength is eternal, and thus Baladev is the original spiritual master of all devotees.
So, regarding Balaram, is explained how Bala is Brajendra Nandana Jai, Sachi Suta Hoilo Sei, Balaram Hoilo Nitai. Same Balaram comes as Nityan Prabhu to give us spiritual strength to practice Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we need a lot of strength to chant Hare Krishna. Right? We don't have spiritual strength to chant. That's why we are unable to be strong spiritually. What His Grace Godakash Prabhu was expressing in Brahmachari class. So we need spiritual strength for chanting also, and by chanting we gain strength. That comes from the special mercy of Nityan Prabhu. So that's what Prabhupada mentions, and Prabhupada also mentions from Mahabharata how Balram is favorite of Duryodhan. That is an inconceivable aspect of Balram, that his student is Duryodhan, and he had a very tough time to understand when Bhima killed Duryodhan. And so that's some aspects of Mahabharata Prabhupada brings out. Pradyumna, Nirja, Samba, all these characters are explained. Okay. So they're all eagerly coming out. They are very much want to receive the Lord. Varanendram puraskritya brahmanyai sasumangalai shankaturya ninadena brahmaghosena chadratah pratyujagmo rathairhrishtah pranayagata sadvasah. Is it?
They hastened toward the gate on the chariots with brahmanas bearing flowers. Before them are elephants, emblems of good fortune, conch shells, and bugles were sounded, and Vedic hymns were chanted. Thus they offered their respects, which were saturated with affection.
That is the main point, saturated with affection. While worshipping the Lord in either deity worship or in Guru Puja, that affection, that love is the main ingredient. Bhaktya patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayasati tadaham bhakti uparatam asnami prayatatmana. They are offering with a saturated affection all these items, which are very auspicious, very much pleasing to the Lord. Read this one.
The Vedic way of receiving a great personality creates an atmosphere of respect, which is saturated with affection and veneration for the person received. The auspicious atmosphere of such a reception depends on the paraphernalia described above, including conch shells, flowers, incense, decorated elephants, and qualified brahmanas reciting verses from the Vedic literature. Such a program of reception is full of sincerity on the part of both the receiver and the received.
Yeah. So definitely whatever means that we have, we need to invite the Lord or we need to worship the Lord accordingly. Bahulashwan Shrutadev, we see that how it's a great difference, great contrast. Same Krishna, but different reception, different way of reciprocation. But Krishna is pleased in both cases. That's the very contrasting example to understand what is the actual ingredients that pleases the Lord. Shrutadev and Bahulashwa. Very amazing pastime, that one. So, full of sincerity, such a program of reception has to be filled with full of sincerity on part of both receiver and received. What? Here comes the verse. Varamukyascha shatasho yanaistadarshanotsukah lasat-kunda nirbhata kapola vadanashriyah.
At the same time, many hundreds of well-known prostitutes began to proceed on various vehicles. They are all very eager to meet the Lord, and their beautiful faces were decorated with dazzling earrings, which enhance the beauty of their foreheads.
Read the purport. First part.
We may not hate even the prostitutes if they are devotees of the Lord. Even to date, there are many prostitutes in great cities of India who are sincere devotees of the Lord. By tricks of chance, one may be obliged to adopt a profession which is not very adorable in society, but that does not hamper one in executing devotional service to the Lord. Devotional service to the Lord is unhackable in all circumstances. It is understood here that even in those days, about 5,000 years ago, there were prostitutes in a city like Dwarka, where Lord Krishna resided. This means that prostitutes are necessary citizens for the proper upkeep of society. The government opens wine shops, but this does not mean that the government encourages the drinking of wine. The idea is that there is a class of men who will drink at any cost, and it has been experienced that prohibition in great cities encourages illicit smuggling of wine. Similarly, men who are not satisfied at home require such concessions. And if there is no prostitute, then such low men will induce others into prostitution. It is better that prostitutes be available in the marketplace so that the sanctity of society can be maintained. It is better to maintain a class of prostitutes than to encourage prostitute within society. The real reformation is to enlighten all people to become devotees of the Lord, and that will check all kinds of deteriorating factors of life.
Thank you. So it's very profound purport by Prabhupada, it appears that Prabhupada is kind of endorsing some kind of this for this institutes, not institutes, but professions. No, it's not at all. Prabhupada also mentioned that that restriction is there. This does not mean that government encourages the drinking of wine. So the purpose of license is not to propagate or encourage. The purpose of license is to restrict. But unfortunately, the government gives so many licenses. The purpose of license is lost. The license of, especially for drinking anything, any other thing. The purpose of license is to restrict people. But the government itself breaks that purpose itself. So what Prabhupada is bringing out that main purpose, the purpose of license is not propagation but restriction. So by that the society is saved also. At the same time, it's restricted also. But unfortunately, it was not the case. It is not the case generally. Prabhupada elaborately discussed the story of Bilomangal Thakur, how he was also attached to what is her name? Chintamani. But later on, she inspired him to take up devotional service because she was great devotee of the Lord. That's how Prabhupada mentions. So that's why Prabhupada starts with the purport. We don't mind the devotees. In that category also can be great devotees in that sense. So this purport is not to encourage any kind of all these societies, either liquor or prostitution, etc. But just to make a point that the society should not be disturbed too much by the want of some persons. So that's the point there. Text 20. Natanartaka gandharvaha sutamagata vandinaha gayanti chottama shloka charitani adbhutani cha.
Expert dramatists, artists, dancers, singers, historians, gynecologists, and learned speakers all gave their respective contributions, being inspired by the superhuman pastimes of the Lord. Thus they proceeded on and on.
Read. Property read.
It appears that 5,000 years ago, the society also needed the services of dramatists, artists, dancers, singers, historians, gynecologists, public speakers, etc. Dancers, singers, and dramatic artists mostly hailed from the Sudra community, whereas the learned historians, gynecologists, and public speakers hailed from the Brahmana community. All of them belonged to a particular caste and they became so trained in their respective families. Such dramatists, dancers, singers, historians, gynecologists, and public speakers would dwell on the subject of the Lord's superhuman activities in different ages and millenniums, and not on ordinary events, nor were they in chronological order. All the Puranas are historical facts described only in the relation with the Supreme Lord in different ages and times as well as on different planets also. Therefore, we do not find any chronological order. The modern historian therefore cannot catch up the link and thus they unauthoritatively remark that the Puranas are all imaginary story only.
So, sorry, just to make a point that it's genealogists. And gynecology is an entirely different branch of medicine. Gynecology is, which we don't recommend also. But genealogy is to see the dynasties, personalities. So these are all personalities. They try to give the actual facts and actual figures of the history, and they try to do many dramas, etc., so that people are attracted to those things like Ramayana, Mahabharata dramas and music. With in previous days before cinema came, so all these are very famous. All the dramas and harikathas. And everywhere, not only in North India, South India, everywhere, all the dramas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, harikathas and bhajans and so many things. Because everyone needs some kind of entertainment also, but that entertainment was very enlightenment as well included. That is the beauty of Vedic culture. Though there was music, dance, and everything was there, but at the same time, the message is also very profound. That's so that was the packaged. That's a more purification as well, and they also come to know what exactly in a very different way. Message can be spoken in like a lecture, but when you put up a drama, everybody likes drama, singing or with music, and also the effect is different because there is audio and visual. Effect has entirely different on our consciousness than just speaking or seeing. So that's how the Prabhupada also endorses. Prabhupada, while ISKCON started, during that time also dramas were very famous. Prabhupada encouraged dramas. So many dramas were put up by devotees. Because Prabhupada mentions in many letters, the main point of the drama is to express feelings. So he also in conversations I happened to come across in Siddhanta Prabhu's book. There were sharings by different devotees that Prabhupada is mentioning to them that we need to exercise the feelings. Drama is main. What is drama? Drama is more of expression of feelings. There are a lot of emotions are there in drama, right now. In any character means basically a lot of emotions. So Prabhupada mentioned to them, so we need to perfect these emotions by playing the dramas. That's so, of course, we also saw the section where there are a lot of emotions. When Hastinapur Vasis are departing, there are a lot of emotions. And here also we are seeing a lot of emotions, these two chapters. To exercise the emotions is also a very essential aspect, as we are also saying that reasoning to the head and the seasoning of the heart, both we need to go in hand because bhakti process is the bhakti process. I don't remember who mentioned it, but I remember that bhakti is the flow of heart with banks of philosophy. Bhakti is like a flow of our heart, just like a river flows with the banks of philosophy. Banks, there has to be banks. Banks without banks, what will happen to the river or water flow? It will go anywhere and it doesn't have any direction. It will not be useful also many times, and it will not be useful also. And it can be if it's channelized, then river can flow to for long distance. It can cater to many fields. But if there are no banks, then water is useless many times. But if there are only banks, no water. What is the use of banks? Right now. So both our philosophy, we have to sharpen our heads with our philosophy, Siddhanta. And the main purpose of having Siddhanta is to exercise the heart and to seasoning our hearts, to not to be withered by the material atmosphere, just like wood is not withered by in the shape or form. The wood is that so seasoned. The wood is seasoned so that it is not withered or it doesn't go out of shape or form by the different weathers. Similarly, our heart, we should not be withered or should go out of form or shape by material weathers. At the same time, giving a different flavors, like food seasoning of food, that flavors are added to the hearts so that it's a very beautiful offering to the Lord. So in that way, these dramas are also
So your genealogist would give account completely of the descendant of the particular family means.
genealogy. Genealogy, like those people give the dynasty. Oh, your king, your grandfather, your great grandfather is like that, and your father did like this. They have did conquered so many countries, or they established so many temples. They did so much of charity, so glorious, so wonderful. They keep on explaining to you all this. The genealogists. They give account of complete descendants. They here also mentioned. It would give account completely of the descendants of a particular family. So by that they are inspired. Those who are there in the family, they'll be inspired. Nah, arey, what a great dynasty! What a great responsibility! Who I am belong to? So that gives you a sense of responsibility, sense of we need to also to contribute, right? So when you belong to a Birla family or when you belong to a great rich family, so he also feels a lot of responsibility in terms of whatever, either charity or doing something, etc. So that's they inspire. These are all to give inspiring, to give inspiration to the descendants. Text 21. भगवांस्तत्र बन्धूनां पौराणाम् अनुवर्तिनां यथा विद्या उपसंगम्य सर्वेषां मानमादधे.
Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, approached them and offered due honor and respect to each and every one of the friends, relatives, citizens, and all other who came to receive and welcome him.
This is Krishna's reciprocation. Krishna is offered due honor and respect to each and every one of friends, relatives, citizens, and all others who came to receive. This is the nature of, this is the personal reciprocation of Krishna with everyone. Though definitely is there within the heart of everyone, he is reciprocating with everyone. Atha vidhi, just as it behooves, is significant. He reciprocates just as it behooves with his different types of admirers and devotees. So Supreme Personality of Godhead is neither impersonal nor an inert object, unable to reciprocate the feelings of his devotees. So this is also a very crucial aspect of our devotional service, that we need to respond and reciprocate atha vidhi as it behooves whenever we are in different situations and different associations, different societies. Accordingly, we need to reciprocate. Behooves, befitting. According to befitting, behooves, befitting. He satisfies everyone in terms of one's development of spiritual consciousness, and as a sample of such reciprocation is exhibited here with his different welcomers. Spiritual consciousness, according to the consciousness, he reciprocates. Text 22. Prahvabivadanashlesha karasparsha smitekshanaih ashvasya chashvapakebhyo varaishchabhimatair vibhuhu.
The Almighty Lord greeted everyone present by bowing his head, exchanging greetings, and embracing, shaking hands, looking with smiles, giving assurance, and awarding benediction even to the lowest in the rank.
Lowest in the rank. Who is the lowest in the rank? Ashwapakebhyo. Ashwapakebhyo means Ashwapakebhya. Say, down to the lowest rank of dog eaters. So Krishna, their kingdom, they are also there. Our city. So we should not have utopian idea that okay, Dwaraka is such a spiritual city. Why they are there like dog eaters or prostitutes and all? Because it's a material world, and Krishna came to revive everyone, to attract everyone, because the city is there, and they are all there as a part of city. So these are all people are there. All the antijas, generally four system varnashramas are there in city: Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and Brahmanas. Antijas are also will be at the outskirts of the city. They will be outskirts of the city. So they are then Krishna respected them according to their position. So bowing down, he said to the elders like Surasena, etc., exchanging greetings with friends and embracing with the loved ones, shaking hands with friends, smiling to those who are respectful. So these are all different exchanges that are happening in the. Read this highlighted portion, yellow.
As a pure living entity, all are the separated parts and parcel of the Lord. And thus, no one is alien by his eternal relation. Such pure living entity are graded differently in terms of contamination of the modes of material nature. But the Lord is equally affectionate to his parts and parcels despite material gradation.
Continue.
He descends only to recall these materialistic living beings back to his kingdom. An intelligent person take advantage of this facility offered by the personality of Godhead to all living beings. No one is rejected by the Lord from the kingdom of God and it remains with the living beings to accept this or not.
Yeah. Prabhupada's beautiful, profound statement in the last purport also. Last purport and this purport also. It remains with the living being to accept this or not. It remains with us to assimilate it or not. The information is given. So Prabhupada's profound statements. No one rejected by the Lord from the kingdom of God. Then how do you understand? Tanaham dvishata kruran samsareshu naradama. How do you understand then? Chandru, how do you understand? How do you understand? Huh? Huh? Free will, definitely. Yeah, that is also love of the law, love of Krishna only, in a different way. When a mother gives bitter medicine to the child, is it hating the child? Because of hate, he is giving bitter medicine? No, it's just a different way of love because the child is deceased and he has to be treated in a proper way. So that's the aspect of Narasimhadev also. If Prahlad Maharaj was blessed by the same hand, and the same hand tore apart the Hiranyakashipu. It's same hand it's in a different way. That's why we sing Tavakara Kamala Vare Nakam Adbhuta Shrangam. So that same nails become very like thunderbolts, but same hand becomes Karavalambam. Lakshmindra Simhamadehi Karavalambam. It's the same protective hand for the Prahlad Maharaj. So yeah, it's up to us. We want to turn towards Lord. We are trying to experience Krishna's love. Definitely, according to our response, according to our sincerity, we will definitely experience. But Krishna is always loving. Krishna's love. I am just remembering one statement by His Grace Chaitanya Prabhu. Krishna's love does not depend on who we are, but who He is. So He is always loving. He is always merciful. Krishna's love does not depend upon who we are. We may be degraded, we may be like all categories are mentioned here, like dog eaters or whatever category we may be, whatever sinful we may be doing, whatever conditions we may be undergoing, who maybe we are. Krishna's love does not depend upon who we are, but who He is. His nature is always loving. That is the nature of Krishna. So that is the nature of Krishna. In that way, He always reciprocates the living entities. Next 23. Swayam cha guru bhir viprai sadarais stavirayrapi ashir bhir yujyamanonyer vandibis chavishatpuram. See, this is second Chavishatpuram is coming. Read.
Then the Lord personally entered the city, accompanied by elderly relatives and invalid brahmanas with their wives, all offering benediction and singing the glory of Lord. Others also praised the glory of Lord.
So this is entering into innermost quarters, especially a group, because there are 16,108 palaces are there, right? The roads and the junctions and all. So there is going to more into inner city. So accompanied by elderly relatives, invalid brahmanas with their wives, all offering benedictions and singing glories of the Lord. So that is the nature of the brahmanas. Prabhupada explains that their 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 profession is just to glorify the Lord and not just working under someone or trying to gain something else, but it is just to glorify the Lord. Okay, we will take a break now. Next section is starting. Shall we take a break? So we'll meet in 12:30. Okay, Hare Krishna.
ब्रेक ही नहीं ब्रेक चाहिए ब्रेक क्यों चाहिए आपको हाँ? अरे बाप रे।
देख चाहिए, देख चाहिए।
Who is there?
कृपा डिपा छिपा टिप।
प्रभु जगदीश।
टाइम पास करते थे।
नहीं बैठ गया इधर तो बैठता हूँ।
अभिषेक तेरे टाइम
और ये टाइम पास करता है मेरा इधर।
आगे बैठे।
मैं चार चार
संग लेना
ए, कुछ लायक है महाप्रसाद, कुछ बना के ना हो ना, पकड़ा पकड़ा कुछ हम जैसे मीटिंग में हुआ था तो भक्ति को देखते बनाना था आज, देखे हैं सबको खिलाते वक्त। नहीं तो सुबह बैगन पकौड़ा बना था, हॉट राइस और बैगन पकौड़ा 3 टाइम में, देखो बचा है क्या? हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
Gonna start. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So now Krishna, in the next section where Krishna's beauty is glorified, how Krishna is now entering into the main city, the city's decorations and city's arrangements are explained, and many other aspects Prabhupada in purports, very profound purports, Prabhupada many points covered regarding the personalities, reciprocations with the different people, and the arrangements and decorations. These are all explained. Now Krishna's beauty is explained while he is walking on the roads, and how his beauty is adored and his beauty is glorified by especially the Dwarakavasis. Rajamargam gate Krishne Dwarakaya Kulastriyah Harmyanyaruruh Vipra Tadikshana Mahotsavaha. Online, somebody will read. Online, generally they have online reading. Who is there online at all first?
Can read. I can read.
Please.
When Lord Krishna passed over the public roads, all the ladies from the respectable families of Dwarka went up to the roofs of their palaces just to have a look at the Lord. They considered this to be the greatest festival.
Please read the underline.
Especially during the days of the Jhulan and Janmashtami ceremonies, the ladies of India still throng up in the greatest number at the temple of the Lord, where his transcendental eternal form is worshipped.
Yeah. Thank you. So, as Krishna is walking on the public roads, the main roads, city paths, so these ladies, as like Hastinapur ladies also, they immediately went to the top of the roofs. Right here also, the ladies are going on top because it's a culture. They don't mix together immediately. So that's why they immediately went to the top. And Prabhupada is bringing out point that Julan and Janmashtami festivals, everybody comes to the temple and trying to attend the festival. This festive mood is very much India. So Prabhupada brings out the deity worship also here. The because the festival, a great festival, no? This is a festival. Of course, Lord is coming into Dwaraka is also a great festival. So in that regard, Prabhupada is bringing out this point of a festival. What is important? What is center of the festival? Is a deity worship also. That's how he is bringing out the deity worship. Importance of deity worship. Read this one.
The transcendental form of the Lord installed in the temple is not different from the Lord personally. Such a form of Lord is called Archa Vigraha or Archa Incarnation, and is expanded by the Lord by his internal potency just to facilitate the devotional service of his innumerable devotees who are in the material world. The material senses cannot perceive the spiritual nature of the Lord, and therefore the Lord accepts the Archa Vigraha, which is apparently made of material elements like earth, wood, and stone. But actually, there is no material contamination. The Lord being Kaivalya, one alone, there is no matter in himself. He is one without a second, and therefore the it's not coming ahead. अटक गया क्या?
हरे बोल इधर तक पढ़ो
Therefore the
Therefore, the Lord accepts the Archa Vigraha, which is apparently made of material elements like earth, wood, and stone. but actually there is no material contamination.
Mm.
Therefore, festivities in the temple of the Lord, as held generally, are like festivals performed during the many festive days of the Lord of Dwarka, about 5,000 years ago. The authorized acharyas who know the science perfectly install such temples of the Lord under regulative principles just to offer facilities to the common man. But persons who are less intelligent, without being conversant with the science, mistake this great attempt to be idol worship and poke their nose into that to which they have no access.
Sorry, Sapnil bro, we could not hear you. That's why we are continuing here.
Yeah, Astuji, no problem.
So here Prabhupada is bringing out a beautiful point that the festivities in temple are like festivals performed during the manifested days of Lord of Dwaraka about 5,000 years ago. They are same. They are same of the presence of the Lord, and the manifested potency of the Lord is there in Archa Vigraha also. So we need to take advantage. Prabhupada is bringing out that point. But unfortunately, those persons who are less intelligent, they can't access the mercy of the Lord. Yeah, festival days, definitely everybody has various services in our temple. Brahmacharis have various services. But a festival, we need to take advantage, either some services or participating in kirtan or abhishek, etc. Then festival becomes festival. Otherwise, then though the festival is there, but it may not be appealing to us if we are spaced out in temple. Prabhupada mentioned that point. Please read this one.
It appears from the verse that the inhabitants of Dwarka were all owners of big palaces. This indicates that prosperity of the city. This indicates the prosperity of the city. The ladies got up on the roofs just to have a look at the procession of the and the Lord. The ladies did not mix with the crowd on the street, and thus their respectability was perfectly observed. There was no artificial equality with the man. Female respectability is preserved more elegantly by keeping the woman separate from the man. The sexes should not mix unrestrictedly.
The same point what Prabhupada mentioned in the last chapter about Hastinapur ladies. Same theme here Prabhupada also brings out how they should not be mixed unrestrictedly. That is more to give respect to them. Female respectability is preserved more elegantly by keeping the woman separate from the man. But unfortunately, we all know in the name of equality, in the name of giving equal footing to all, we are trying to tamper or we are trying to destroy the culture itself. But at least we should maintain in our culture whatever we can, whatever, especially in ashram, we have restrictions. So the restriction should not be only a restriction, but it's a protection. Definitely, it's a fencing, and fencing is important. But more important is feeding. Just like an animal is put in a fence, yeah, it's protected definitely. But the more important is to feed the animal, right? Otherwise, it will die. So that means we are trying to develop the taste towards the Lord, taste towards the festivals and celebrating the festivals and doing some service in the festivals and developing more taste towards spiritual life, practicing spiritual life. Then the protection is automatically is maintained. No need to too much fearful becoming. But definitely the protection and the fencing has to be there always. So that's what Prabhupada was mentioning. For the society also, what to speak of the ashram. Society is very much in need as well to save the society. So these are the beautiful verses about the beauty of the Lord. Nityam nirikshamaणानां यद्यपि द्वारकौकसां न वितृप्यन्ति हि दृशः श्रियो धामाङ्गमच्युतम्. Read.
Inhabitants of Dwarika regularly accustomed to looking upon the reservoir of all beauty, the infallible Lord, yet they are never satiated.
Satiated.
Satiation.
Satiated. Satiation.
Satiation.
Read.
When the ladies of the city of Dwarika got up on the roof of their palaces, they never thought that they had previously many times seen the beautiful boy of the infallible Lord. This indicates that they had no satiation in desiring to see the Lord.
There is a law of satiation. Prabhupada talks in the next para. Law of satiation with the material things. So when we say that we are satisfied, yeah, we should be satisfied with material things. Whatever material things, material needs, material requirements, we need to be satisfied with whatever we have. सदानामलोइबे यथाला बेते संतोष यही धर्माचारी bhakti dharma posh. So these two things Krishna Kaviraj also mentioning. And Sadanamaloibe yathalabete santosh. Yathalabete santosh. We should be satisfied with whatever we get, especially in ashram. So that's with the material things. But another thing, Sadanamaloibe, we should not be satisfied with whatever with regarding to spiritual things. Either whatever services or the sadhana, etc. We want to more and more, we want to connect with the Lord, we want to remember the Lord. So that there is no satiation. Oh, I have done sufficiently. I am done now. I am frustrated now. So these are all not a proper symptoms of advancement. So the principle behind experience, Prabhupada says, read.
Anything material seen for a number of times ultimately becomes unattractive by the law of satiation. The law of satiation acts materially, but there is no scope for it in the spiritual realm.
Yeah. So generally people want to see movies or see some cinema star or whoever it may be materially. But after some time they will be satiated, they will be frustrated, even they may be become enemies like that. So the same thing which was very much attractive initially and they become a poison. Even Krishna defines the mode of passion. That which is poison in that which is nectar in the initially becomes poison in the course of time. Yattadagre amrutam pariname vishwamamipa. So we need to attract towards the spiritual things, and that which only gives great satisfaction. That is only satisfying thing. So Prabhupada is mentioning the law of satiation. We becomes very much distasteful towards material things as we keep on exposing ourselves to the material beauty, etc. But Lord's beauty is such that it's always very, very attractive. So the law of satiation Prabhupada explaining here. And then Shriyo Dhamangam Achyutam. Why they are very much attracted? So that is explained here. Read.
The word infallible is significant here because although the Lord has mercifully descended to earth, he is still infallible. The living entity are fallible because when they came in contact with the material world, they lack their spiritual identity. And thus, the body materially obtained becomes subjected to birth, growth, transformation, situation, deterioration, and annihilation under the law of nature. The Lord's body is not like that. He descends as he is and is never under the law of the material modes. His body is the source of everything that be, the reservoir of all beauty beyond our experience. No one, therefore, is satiated by seeing the transcendental beauty of Lord, because there are always manifestations of newer and newer beauty. The transcendental name, form, quality, and entourage, etc., are all spiritual manifestations, and there is no satisfaction in chanting the holy name of Lord. There is no satisfaction in discussing the quality of Lord, and there is no limitation of the encourage of the Lord. He is the source of all and is all limitless.
He's unlimited, and even in giving the happiness or satiation, there is no satiation at all. No, because they are transcendental in nature. Anything transcendental or spiritual, it's always increasing its beauty. Navagauravaram, Navapushpasharam, Navabhavadharam, Navalasyakaram, Navahemavaram, Navahashyakaram, Pranamami Sachi Sutagauravaram. So it's always ever fresh. It's always ever. Spiritual things are ever fresh. But unfortunately, we are not experiencing the ever freshness. That's why we are becoming satiated or tired or fatigued after doing something, after reading for an hour or so, after 1.5 hours, 2 hours, we are tired. Tired of chanting also. After chanting 16 rounds flat, take some rest. After class, we take some rest. So that's because of our inability to taste the nectar or the spiritual nature of the subject. Just like Krishna's beauty is always increasing, and even Krishna is himself unable to understand what beauty is there with him, what is the qualities are with him. They are so expanding that he wants to come and taste his own sweetness in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he is unable to experience himself, he is unable to understand himself, his beauty. That's how the beauty is so unlimited. Every mantra that we chant is entirely ever fresh. The next mantra is ever fresh again, revealing. But the number increases, our tiredness increases in the conditioned stage. But in the elevated stage, as the number increases, the more and more relish increases. They are experiencing newer and newer mellows in chanting the same mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. As Rupa Goswami mentioning, Anudinam, kintu adarat anudinam kalusaiva jushta swadvikramat bhavati tadgata mulahantri. So daily we need to take with a great respect and as a schedule, as a routine. Adarat anudinam, both when we keep on taking the medicine, definitely we will be cured and we will try to taste the nectar in all the spiritual aspects, either reading or hearing. So the more we try to connect what we are doing, either we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam here with the characters and with the feelings and with what the message, with the personalities, how Sutta Goswami is expressing. So the more we will be enlivened, more we will be connected. Otherwise, the more we are disconnected with what we are doing, the more we will be tend towards it will be boring and tiring, etc. Either the holy name or reading or hearing, anything. So these are need to be paying attention so that we increase our taste day by day, not decrease. Especially it's a responsibility for all of us as a brahmacharis in ashram. We increase our taste to both sadhana and seva. As days go by, as the ashram, we increase our years. Because as we grow also in years, our services become more and more not physical but managerial, that we are trying to guide others, trying to engage others than we are doing on ourselves, especially in later stages. So for that, we also need to be properly situated internally. Of course, many devotees have varied experiences depending on their psychophysical nature. They will be engaging themselves. But as the age grows, everyone becomes old. Right now, the body becomes invalid. The body doesn't cooperate for whatever we are trying to do. And what to speak of subtle body, the gross body and subtle body, Both has to go hand in hand, but the subtle body is more stronger. So as the age grows by, the gross body becomes dwindling and reducing its activities. But the subtle body has to be trained very nicely so that it is always trying to remember Krishna, trying to mold itself, trying to direct itself towards spiritual aspects. Not it is becoming more tired or frustrated or lamenting about the past or being fearful of upcoming future, about the body, about the situation of life, etc. So that's our outer responsibility. In the sense, it's an overarching responsibility of a brahmachari. One wants to continue ahead till the end point of life. That is a very crucial aspect, to develop a taste in spiritual aspects, the feeding the animal, not just trying to be fencing it. Okay, that's the spiritual beauty of Krishna. Nityam nirikshamananam. They want to see again and again the beauty. Of course, as a regulative principle, we try to take darshan of the Lord. We try to execute as many principles as told by Rupa Goswami in 64 principles. There are many things related to deity in 64 principles. So we try to execute them more and more so that we are also trying to develop a taste towards the deity and the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada mentioned one time that there is a beautiful concept. He wrote a letter that unless you take the principles very seriously and strictly, the same Vigraha will become Galagraha. Why my spiritual master gave me a burden to me? Either it's a Vigraha or it can be Bidbag. Bidbag is more Galagraha. It's become more and more weighty to me. It becomes a kind of a burden and to lift and to chant. So the more we try to follow seriously and sincerely, the more we try to feel the ecstasy of the deities or the spiritual aspects, the services. They won't feel we don't feel like a Galagraha. Why at all? Like my spiritual master gave me all these regulative principles and chanting Hare Krishna 16 rounds. They should not become a Galagraha, burden on our heads, and we should not feel the experience should not be like that as we grow. Text 26. Shriyo nivaso yasyoraha panapatram mukam drusham bahavo lokapalanam saranganam parambusham.
The Lord's chest is the abode of the goddess of fortune. His moon-like face is a drinking vessel for the eyes, which hanker after all that is beautiful. His arms are the resting place for the administrative demigods, and his lotus feet are the refuge of pure devotees who never talk or sing of any subject except his lordship.
Here, 2-3 things Prabhupada explains very nicely about aspects of the verse. Shriyo nivaso yasyora. So Mother Sri, Mother Goddess of Fortune, Mother Lakshmi, residing on the chest of the Lord. And Panapatram Mukam Drusham, the Lord's lotus face is like a drinking pot, is a nectar pot. It's a comparison, beautiful comparison. This whole face is compared to Panapatram. It's a pot. What is there in the pot? There is nectar there in the pot, in the beauty. Who is drinking from the pot? All the ladies, all the Dwarakavasis, they are like bumblebees. They are drinking the nectar from this Panapatram. That's lotus face. Baho Lokapalanam, all the Lokapalas are taking shelter of the Lord's shoulders. Saranganam Padambujam, and the devotees are at the lotus feet. They are taking nectar from the lotus feet, the lotuses of the Lord. Prabhupada explains all these four. There are different classes of human beings, are all seeking different enjoyments from different objects. Prabhupada explains one by one. Goddess of fortune, how she is residing on the chest. And impersonalists cannot observe the such goddess of fortune because of the dry speculative habit. Beauty. Read. Online devotees will read. Pranjal Bro, you want to read? Is not there.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. I'm there.
Hmm.
Shall I read?
Beauty.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. The
Yes.
face of the Lord is embodiment of beauty. What is called beautiful nature is but his smile,
Hmm.
and what are called sweet songs of the birds are but specimens of whispering voice of the Lord.
Yeah, these are the Prabhupada's giving insight to experience the Lord in our present condition as well. The face of the Lord is embodiment of beauty. What is called beautiful nature is but his smile. Generally, we try to experience whenever we are going through towards nature or seeing the nature while traveling or anywhere. So that is but his beautiful smile. Beautiful nature is called its beautiful smile. And his sweet songs of birds are like specimens of whispering voice of the Lord. So these are all beautiful expressions of the Lord in this manifested world to trying to see how Krishna is so beautifully manifesting in the nature. And then Prabhupada explains Bhavo Lokapalanam, how the demigods are taking shelter of the because they want protection, they want some protection as well as nourishment from the Lord. So that's why they always under the shelter of the Lord's hands, shoulders. Saranganam Padambajam. Please read this one, 7th and 8th.
Hare Krishna. The essence of everything is Supreme Lord. He is called the Saram, and those who sing and talk about him are called Sarangas, or the pure devotees. The pure devotees are always hankering after the lotus feet of the Lord, which have a kind of honey that is transcendently relished by the devotees. Eighth, they are like the bees who are always after the honey. Srila Rup Goswami, the great devotee Acharya of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, has sung a song about this lotus honey, comparing himself to the bee. Quote, "O my Lord Krishna, I beg to offer my prayer unto you. My mind is like the bee, and if it is after some honey, kindly therefore give me bee mine a place at your lotus feet, which are the sources for all transcendental honey. I know that even big demigods like Brahma do not see the rays of the nails of your lotus feet, even though they are engaged in deep meditation for years together. Still, O infallible one, my ambition is such, for you are very merciful to your surrendered devotees. O Madhav, I know also that I have no genuine devotion for the service of your lotus feet, but because your lordship is unconceivably powerful, you can do what is impossible to be done. Your lotus feet deride even the nectar of the heavenly kingdom, and therefore I am very much attracted by them. O Supreme Eternal, please therefore let my mind be fixed at your lotus feet, so that eternally I may be able to relish the taste of your transcendental service." Unquote.
Yeah. Continue.
Ninth, the devotees are satisfied being placed at the lotus feet of the Lord and have no ambition to see his all beautiful face or aspire for the protection of the strong arms of the Lord. They are humble by nature, and the Lord is always leaning towards such humble devotees.
Prabhupada is finally glorifying the lotus feet, how devotees are taking shelter at the lotus feet. Definitely, glorifying the beauty of the Lord is always purifying. There are so many songs glorifying the beauty of the Lord. So many astakams are mentioned, astakams are composed, are released by devotees. That Vallabhacharya wrote, Adharam, Adharam, Madhuram, Vadanam, Madhuram. So these are all glorifying different limbs of the Lord and various that we can definitely relish reciting and relishing all these aspects, glorifying the Lord. Nama Rupa Guna Lila, the Rupa, the beauty of the Lord is very much satisfying to devotees, and that we can always glorify and relish Lord's beauty. And we are always attracted towards beautiful things that we always want to see. Eyes always are after to see some beautiful things of this world. People travel long distances, spend so much of money, go here, go to that valley, this valley, just to see some beautiful scenery, to experience some beauty to their eyes. But unless we come to this point of satisfying with the beauty of the Lord, it will not be satiated. The eyes will not be satiated at all. So that is the glory of the beauty of the Lord. Okay, text 27. सीतातपत्रव्यजनैरुपस्कृतः प्रसूनवर्षैरभिवर्षितः पति विसङ्गवासा वनमालया बभौ घनो यथा नृपोडुप चापवैद्युतैः.
As the Lord passed along the public road of Dwaraka, his head was protected from the sunshine by a white umbrella. White hair fans moved in semicircles, and showers of flowers fell upon the road. All this, his yellow garments and his garlands of flowers made it appear as if a dark cloud was surrounded simultaneously by the sun, the moon, a rainbow, and lightning.
A comparison is given how Sutta Goswami is glorifying the comparison of the beauty of the Lord. Such a contrasting things, but came together at the same time. There are so many contrasting things are mentioned here, but they all came at a time. This is possible by the inconceivable mercy of the Lord. Read the lines.
So all the activities of the firmament being impossible simultaneous factors cannot be adjusted by comparison. The adjustment is possible only when we think of the inconceivable potency of the Lord. The Lord is all powerful, and in his absence, anything impossible can be made possible. The Lord is all powerful, okay, and in his presence, anything impossible can be made possible by his inconceivable energy. But the situation created at the time of his passing on the roads of Dwaraka was beautiful and could not be compared to anything besides the description of natural phenomena.
So, what are the things mentioned in this verse? What things are mentioned in this verse?
All powerful is.
And the comparison given. Huh?
Oh, umbrellas.
See, one is white umbrella and white hair fans moved in semicircles. Two persons are two sides. They are trying to offer the Lord the fan, white hair fans and showers. And showers of flowers also fell upon the road. And his yellow garments and his garlands of flowers made it appear as if dark cloud were surrounded by simultaneously by the sun. What is the sun? Comparison here. Umbrella is sun. What is the moon?
Yeah. Fans. Oh.
Fans. Rainbow.
Garland.
Huh? Garlands of the rainbow.
Lightning to flowers falling. Lightning to flower of flowers.
Flowers are compared to stars, and lightning. Prabhupada says here, his yellow garments are compared to lightning. See here, the Lord's bodily hue is just like a monsoon cloud, new monsoon cloud. He is compared to here into the cloud. The white umbrella over head is compared to sun. The movement of white hair fans is compared to moon. The showers of flowers compared to stars. His yellow garment is compared to lightning, and the flower garlands are compared to rainbow. Everything at one time came together, which are contradictory in nature. So that are all put into picture here. This is a beautiful picture where it showed On the top, the umbrella is there, two fans are there, this side and that side, and the dark cloud of Krishna's color, and the lightning of his pitambar or the cloth, and the rainbow like garlands are there. And it appears the flowers are falling, down flowers are there, but falling flowers are not shown here. Down flowers are shown like stars, right? So all these things are at a time came giving such a beauty. Everyone is mesmerized by seeing the beauty of the Lord. So that is glorified by Sutta Goswami is narrating that beauty that Krishna is manifesting to Dwarkavasis. Yes. Generally, it's like that peacock. Peacock is used for that one. Peacock or chamar. Chamar is used for that one. Correct. It's mentioned like that. Offering of Shank is considered ether offering to the Lord. Shank is offering ether, and the chamar is for air, vayu. Correct. Who is deity worship? कोई नहीं. So yeah, that is considered.
Happy.
Huh? Yes, Swapnil bro. Who is sharing? Your voice is we are unable to hear. Your internet is not. I think.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. Please speak. Okay, he's saying yes. So generally it's considered for removing the. So here more of opulence also. In terms of opulence, when we take Prabhupada also, both sides, fan and this peacock feather, both are used. It gives also opulence as a personality, a great personality, just like kings. Kings are side by they are there, we're giving a kind of a fanning the air. But generally that's Asian is considered for removing the flies and other things. Yeah, Chamar is air. Dhoop. Dhoop. Yeah, Prabhupada also mentioned many times that, that is for especially to remove the flies or any other things which are coming on the deity or coming on the Lord. But it's also considered. That is also a kind of opulence offering to the Lord. Like when you have servants, when you are doing some special mercy, special service to the Lord, and it also shows the royalty for the king. When their kings are going, it shows the royalty also. Okay. Next 28 to 30 are reciprocations. Now he entered into. Now the beauty is glorified by all the Dwarakavasis, and now the reciprocation, personal reciprocations are coming in text 28 to 30. He's reciprocating with mothers. He's entering into quarters now, main quarters. प्रविष्टस्तु गृहं पित्रोः परिष्वक्ता स्वमातृभिः ववन्दे शिरसा सप्ता देवकी प्रमुखा मुदा.
After entering the house of his father, he was embraced by the mothers present, and the Lord offered his obeisances unto them by placing his head at their feet. The mothers were headed by Devaki, his real mother.
Continue.
It appears that Vasudeva, the father of Lord Krishna, had completely separate residential quarters where he lived with his 18 wives, out of whom Srimati Devaki is the real mother of Lord Krishna. But in spite of this, all other stepmothers were equally affectionate to him as will be evident from the following verse. Lord Krishna also did not distinguish his real mother from his stepmothers, and he equally offered his obeisances unto all the wives of Vasudeva present on the occasion.
Yeah. So it appears that just like nowadays also after marriage, parents are separate. Of course, that is not separate in the sense, but as Prabhupada mentioning, they have a completely separate residential quarters for Vasudeva and all the mothers. But they are there. They are next to the quarters of Lord Krishna's queens. But the affection is shown here. In spite of all this, all stepmothers, there is no envy. Prabhupada is bringing out that point that though Krishna is son of Devaki, but all mothers are not having any kind of envy towards Devaki. Okay. So Prabhupada mentions then 6 mothers, that in general we talk about 7 mothers. What are the 7 mothers Prabhupada brings out here?
Mother, the wife of spiritual master, wife of Brahmana, the river, cow,
Nurse and earth.
nurse and earth.
So these are all 7 mothers in general in our scriptures mentioned. All are considered mothers. So Lord Krishna, the Lord of Universe, plays the part of an ideal son just to teach others how to treat their stepmothers. Stepmothers or other mothers, whoever they are, we all treat accordingly. We need to reciprocate accordingly. Prabhupada is making a point. Taha putram ankam aropya snehasnuta payodhara harsha vihlalita atmana shishuchur netra jair jalai.
The mothers, after embracing their son, sat him on their laps. Due to pure affection, milk sprang from their breasts. They were overwhelmed with delight, and the tears from their eyes wetted the Lord.
Read, Prabhupada.
When Lord Krishna was at Vrindavan, even the cows would become moistened by affection towards him, and he would draw milk from the nipples of every affectionate living being. So, what to speak of the stepmothers, who were already as good as his own mother?
He would draw milk from nipples of every affectionate living being. So, what to speak of the stepmothers who are already as good as his own mother? So, as Prabhupada is mentioning in the poetic way, that he is trying to bring out the affection and love from all living entities. That is the nature of Krishna. He is trying to share his own love, and also he wants to experience everyone's love. That is the mood of spiritual world. That loving exchanging the loving nature, loving affection, affectionate dealings between devotees and the Lord. So the Lord has that potency to bring out the affection from all the living entities. And also, as we are trying to practice our spiritual life, we also try to bring more and more of love and affection, both internally and externally. So our hearts, devotional service, Krishna consciousness in devotional service. So Prabhupada uses these 2 words as we discussed. We are becoming more and more Krishna consciousness while executing our devotional services. So in that way, our offering becomes more and more pleasurable to the Lord. 30 to 35, with queens, now the quarters of his parents are over. Now he is discussing about reciprocation with the queens. अथाविशत् स्वभवनं सर्वकामम् अनुत्तमं प्रसादायत्र पत्नीनां सहस्राणि च षोडश.
Thereafter, the Lord entered his palaces, which were perfect to the fullest extent. His wives lived in them, and they numbered over 16,000.
So, yeah, Prabhupada gives more about palaces and how. Read the second para.
Therefore, in the palaces of the Lord, there was nothing wanting for fulfilling all desires of the Lord. The Lord is unlimited, and therefore his desires are also unlimited, and the supply is also unlimited. everything being unlimited. It is concisely described here as Sarva Kamam, or full with all desirable equipment.
Yeah, everything is there. The quarters and the palaces are glorified here. 31. Patnya patim proshaghanupatam vilokya sanjata mano mahotsava utasar arat sahasashanashaya sakam vratair vridita lochananaha.
The queens of Lord Sri Krishna rejoiced within their minds to see their husband back home after a long period abroad. The queens got up at once from their seats and meditations. As was socially customary, they covered their faces shyly and looked about coyly.
Mm. And the queens rejoiced within their minds by seeing the Lord is entering the palace after a long time. And they got up and they're trying to reciprocate with the Lord. But as an etiquette, they are trying to cover themselves. Read.
Queens of Lord Krishna rejoice within their minds to see their husband back home after a long period abroad. The queens got up at once from their seats and meditations. As was social customary, they covered their faces shyly and looked about coyly.
Translation.
As mentioned above, the Lord entered his home palaces occupied by 16,108 queens. This means that the Lord at once expanded himself in as many plenary expansions as there were queens and palaces, and entered in each and every one of them simultaneously and separately.
Continue.
Here is another manifestation of the feature of his internal
potency. As we are discussing that Krishna entered into all palaces at a time, expanding into 16,108 personalities.
Now he becomes 16,008.
Yeah, that's what.
after meeting his parents, then he enters.
Yeah.
Then he becomes.
Yeah, he's expanding himself. Proper explaining here. Read.
Thus, the personality of Godhead manifested himself in 16,108 plenary expansions and simultaneously entered into each and every one of the palaces of the queens. This is called Vaibhava, or the transcendental potency of the Lord. And because he can do so, he is also known as Yogeshwara.
Yogeshwar. Yogeshwara and Yogeshwara. Two words are there. Yoga plus Ishwara is Yogeshwar. So he is the master of yoga. Yogi plus Ishwara, Yogeshwara is the name of Lord Shiva. He is the best amongst of all yogis. Yogeshwara and Yogeshwara. Lord Krishna is called Yogeshwar because of his Vaibhav potency. Read this one.
The queens were also expansions of his internal potency, and thus the potent and his potencies are perpetually exchanging transcendental humors, known as the pastimes of the Lord. One should not therefore become astonished to learn that the Lord married so many wives.
So exhibit his opulence, Krishna manifested this opulence of marrying 16,108. Just to, Prabhupada many times mentions that just to make us humble or to challenge the person who is trying to call himself God. Prabhupada always mentions, can he marry 16,000 wives and can he make palaces and satisfy all of them? That is the rhetoric question Prabhupada always asks. Yes. It is on.
According to Yajnavalkya's religious injunctions, a woman whose husband is away from home should not take part in any social functions, should not decorate her body, should not laugh, and should not go to any relative's house in any circumstance. This is the vow of the ladies whose husbands are away from home. At the same time, it is also enjoined that a wife should never present herself before the husband in an unclean state. She must decorate herself with ornaments and good dress, and should always be present before the husband in a happy and joyous
mood. Yeah. But so they are also trying to please the Lord. Please the Lord in various ways. All the gopis and not gopis, all the queens of Dwaraka. are reciprocating with the Lord. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, okay, we read the Srila Vishwanath Thakur's commentary. Point on reaction. Read.
According to Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, there was a regular psychological reaction on the occasion. First of all, rising from their seats, although they wanted to see their husband, they were deterred because of feminine shyness. But due to strong ecstasy, they overcame that stage of weakness and became caught up with the idea of embracing the Lord. And this thought factually made them unconscious of the surrounding environment. This prime state of ecstasy annihilated all other formalities and social conventions. Thus, they escaped all stumbling blocks on the path of meeting the Lord. And that is the perfect stage of meeting the Lord of the soul, Sri Krishna.
Sri Krishna. That is a perfect stage of meeting the Lord of the soul. Prabhupada, kind of a poetic way of saying of the soul, Lord of the soul, Sri Krishna. Giving up all social and formalities and trying to overcome all the stumbling blocks to meet the Lord. Every soul should reach to Krishna. That's Prabhupada is mentioning lastly. Tamatmajay drushtabir antaratmana duranta bhava parirevhire patim nirudyamapi asravad ambunetrayo milajsatinam bhruguvarya vaiklavat.
The insuperable ecstasy was so strong that the queens who were shy first embraced the Lord in the innermost recess of their hearts. Then they embraced him visually, and then they sent their sons to embrace him, which is equal to personal embracing. But O chief amongst the pilgrims, though they tried to restrain their feelings, they inadvertently shed tears.
So this is also reciprocating with the Lord, though they are first embraced in the core of hearts, but as the sons are representatives of mother, they send their sons to embrace the Lord. Read the first lines.
Although due to feminine shyness, there were many hindrances to embracing the dear husband, Lord Sri Krishna, the queens performed that act by seeing him, by putting him in the course of their hearts, and by sending their sons to embrace him. Still, the act remained unfinished, and tears rolled down their cheeks despite all endeavors to check them. One directly embraces the husband by sending one indirectly embraces the husband by sending the son to embrace him because the son is developed as part of mother's body. The embrace of the son is not exactly the embrace of husband and wife from the sexual point of view, but the embrace is satisfaction from the affectionate point of view. The embrace of the eyes is more effective in the conjugal relation, and thus, according to Srila Jiva Goswami, there is nothing wrong in such an exchange of feeling between husband and wife.
These are some exchanges between Lord and the innermost devotees, the queens of Dwaraka, and even the Madhurya Rasa devotees. So these dealings, the Krishna is and all the acharyas are giving us some opportunity to understand the very intimate pastimes of the Lord. So by understanding this, we should not become too much, as Prabhupada mentioning, they should not bring us to a material understanding. The verses will come now. One should not conclude that Lord is also acting like a material person. Generally, the consciousness tend to be like that. So to explain the glory of the Lord, these exchanges are explained now. Then the conclusion will be given by Sutta Goswami. Very beautiful verses. How Lord is, though such an exalted personality, but still manifesting such a pastimes which are very bewildering to people, normal people. But how one should understand them, how one should not bring down the Lord's position in our consciousness. That is also caution given by Sutta Goswami in upcoming verses. But yeah, these are all very elevated, very exalted devotees of the Lord, and Lord is reciprocating with their love and devotion. So that is very much revealed in this section of Srimad Bhagavatam. 33. Yadyapyaso parshvagato rahogatas tathapi tasyangri yugam navam navam पदे पदे का विरमेत तत्पदात् चलापि यच्चीर्न जहाति करिचित्.
Although Lord Sri Krishna was constantly by their sides as well as exclusively alone, his feet appeared to them to be newer and newer. The goddess of fortune, although by nature always restless and moving, could not quit the Lord's feet. So, what woman can be detached from those feet, having once taken shelter of them?
Comparison is given. Lord Lakshmi also is given. Lakshmi. What woman can be detached? Their goddess of fortune, though she was restless, Chanchala is considered Mother Lakshmi, but still she could not quit the Lord's feet. But that comparison again, what woman can give up, detached from the Lord's feet of the Lord? Read the first paragraph.
Conditioned living beings are always after the favor of the goddess of fortune, although by nature she is moving from one place to another. In the material world, no one is permanently fortunate, however clever one may be. There have been so many big empires in different parts of the world. There have been so many powerful kings all over the world. And there have been so many fortunate men, but all of them have been liquidated gradually. This is the law of material nature.
But spiritually?
But spiritually, it is different. According to Brahma Samhita, the Lord is served very respectfully by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. They are always in a lonely place also with the Lord. But still, the association of the Lord is so inspiringly near and near that they cannot quit the Lord for a moment. Even though they are by nature very restless and are moving about, the spiritual relations with the Lord is so enlivening and resourceful that no one can leave the company of the Lord once having taken shelter of Him.
So Prabhupada compared both material experience and spiritual experience of the conditioned living beings in the first para. So though they have so many material things, but they can lose at any time. They are so temporary. But on the opposite side, the shelter of the Lord, shelter of the lotus feet is so enchanting that the day by day one is increasing in his experience of spiritual life. Then the question may come, if at all, if spiritual life is so wonderful, so relishable, and if the day by day the sweetness increases, why so many devotees are leaving the practices of Krishna consciousness? Why they are unable to taste the nectar that is present, that is mentioned or glorified in these sections of Srimad Bhagavatam? What is the reason? Why we are unable to, or even some are continuing, definitely. Many are continuing, but many are giving up. Why it is so? Sweet is so much, nectar is drinking so much. There is every moment newer and newer sweets. Huh? Okay, that point is that the value of Krishna consciousness, many are not realizing it. Okay. Where is the sweetness that is spoken here? What happened? Why many are living? Yeah, one point is that we are unable to understand the glory of the wealth that is given to us. So we need to remind ourselves every day about the sweetness, about the mesmerizing pleasure, relishable aspects of devotional service. Okay, we continue, keep on remembering, or we experience. Yeah, we definitely remember. We definitely keep on sharing, trying to share the beauty of the message. And definitely we also we are also trying to taste some kind of sweetness. That's why we are continuing right now. The fact that from so many years we are trying to practice 16 rounds, we are trying to practice four regulative principles, be in association and do some services and trying to be going along means that we are definitely tasting something somewhere. So that has to be increased, that has to be released more and more as we grow. So the fact that we are staying itself shows that, yeah, definitely we are experiencing. And those who are leaving the whole practice, of course, they may be leaving the different ashrams, that's maybe okay. But if somebody is leaving the practices itself, that need to be seen, that need to be understood very carefully, why they are living, why they are trying to become very kind of frustrated or anti towards our movement, anti towards the practices itself. Basically, the experiences make want to go away. The process and the philosophy and all the limbs of devotional service, they don't have any kind of a shortcoming in themselves, right now. The limbs of the process itself, it's very perfect. They don't have any shortcomings or they are not any inadequate in themselves. All the limbs, all the things are perfect. But the experience that we get, that we need to see in our ashrams or in our spiritual life. So when we talk about experiences, experience is not just a single event. Experience is two sides. Something is happening and you are reacting to that. That is called experience. Something is happening, some then you are trying to respond to that. That is called, there are two events are involved in an experience. If something has happened and then you are trying to respond to that, then there is a experience. So when the experiences are not in our, what to say, calculation or in our expectations, then things starts going in an off track, or we may try to see something different. So that's why we need to try to analyze our experiences also, how to experience the experiences. That's otherwise we will experience something opposite, and then we take it as a, what is happening? I am trying to serve Krishna, trying to practice spiritual life. Things I am not expecting are coming in my life. So then we may tend to go ahead within different direction. So we need to be careful about experiences. That is also in my choice. But how I train my experiences, in the sense that, okay, things happen. Okay, how do I respond? How do we experience the situation? So that also we need to train ourselves. So it's on my responsibility to experience in a positive way. Tattenukampam susumekshmano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam hrudvagvatubher vidudhan namaste jivetayo muktipade sadaya bhak. So he's responding in a, he's training his experiences. He's trying to see Tattenukampam. He's always trying to look up to that mercy in all situations. That stage we need to come to, whatever may happen in spiritual life. If we are trying to come to that experience, then we can continue whatever may happen in spiritual life, especially in ashram. So, of course, as we are discussing, that it's very, we don't know what is there with future. But definitely, the more we try to understand the experiences that are coming in our life, which are sometimes out of our expectations, out of our imaginations, out of our dreams also. So, but they may be coming, they will come, but we need to mold ourselves to experience in a positive way by our own understanding or by the guidance of the superiors, so that we are trying to experience the sweetness of the Lord, just like Prabhupada in his life. Though there were so many severe oppositions or severe, what do you call, calamities in his life, but still he's always seeing the hand of the Lord and experience the beauty of the Lord in his life. So that's why he could continue ahead and share, not only experience himself the Krishna consciousness sweetness, and he's sharing the sweetness by writing all these wonderful, beautiful purports. So that's the responsibility with us. Otherwise, we may leave this the beauty of Krishna consciousness that is given to us, and we may end up in something else, something very less that what we are meant for. So, in Prabhupada bringing out the last point that living beings are by constitution feminine by nature. The male or enjoyer is the Lord, and all manifestations of his different potencies are feminine by nature. That is Prakriti. That is service attitude. What is the sloka? What is the verse that we sing Tulsi Arati? Sevadhikaro diye karo nijadasi. Krishnadas is praying, let me become Dasi. Das is praying to become Dasi. What? Is only changing the form or what? Is praying to change the form only? No, attitude also. Seva Adhikar. Seva Adhikar is service attitude. And in the form of Dasi, in the form of not as an enjoyer, but as a feminine by nature. So we are all Prakriti. Krishna is Purusha. So he is praying that I may be trying to be a master now as Das. Of course, Das is also a servant by nature. But in that line, as per my understanding, it's trying to pray to the service attitude in the mood of feminine nature as a Prakriti. Koro Nijadasi. And of course, at different levels, we can understand that the prayer, but it is mentioning that basically the service attitude is praying for. So, yeah. Read this one, last one.
Generally, people engaged in service are always seeking some post under the government or the supreme enjoyer of the state. Since the Lord is the supreme enjoyer of everything, or outside the universe, it is happiness to be employed by Him. Once as engaged in the supreme governmental service of the Lord, no living being wishes to be relieved from the engagement. The highest perfection of human life is to seek some employment under the Lord's supreme service. That will make one extremely happy. One need not seek the moving goddess of fortune without relation of the Lord.
Government post, Papa is talking about. Everyone is after government post. So this is the supreme government post, Krishna service. 34. Evam Drupanam Kshitibhara Janmanam Akshobhnibhi Parivratta Tejasam Vidhaya Vairam Swashasram Yathanalam Mitho Vadheno Parato Nirayudha.
The Lord was pacified after killing those kings who were burdensome to the earth. They were puffed up with their military strength, their horses, elephants, chariots, infantry, etc. He himself was not a party in the fight. He simply created hostility between the powerful administrators, and they fought amongst themselves. He was like the wind which causes the friction between the bamboos and so sparks a fire.
Suddenly, how it came in between? All the mothers' reciprocations are going on, the queen's reciprocations are going on. Why the killing and the bamboo fire and chariots and fighting picture came in between. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti has a beautiful comment to share. Why is sharing some odd verse in between the nectar of reciprocations with mothers and wives and all? Please read.
In order to express the unimpeded nature of his love for the queens, another type of activity lacking that excitement is described.
That is the main reason. So to express how I relish so much the unimpeded nature of the love for the queens, which is lacking that excitement, is described. Opposite, contrast to contrast. Just as wind
produces fire by rubbing the bamboos together and then destroys them by burning, the Lord without weapons, by creating enmity between the kings who were powerful with their vast armies and who created a burden for the earth, destroyed them by having them kill each other.
Lord is Lord is definitely helping to establish dharma. So we should not see that he is creating some frictions and fightings. That should not be the point. Lord is trying to establish dharma so that he whatever wanted that he is trying to do here. We'll go ahead. We have less time to cover. Text 35. Sayesh naralokesmin avatirna swamayaya reme sri ratna kutasto bhagavan prakruto yatha.
That supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, appeared on this planet by his internal potency and enjoyed himself amongst competent women as if he were engaging in mundane affairs.
Yeah, as if engaged in mundane affairs. He is not considered how he engaged materially. It is not mentioned here. It's not mentioned that he engaged materially, as if he engaged materially. Prakruto yatha. That's how its comment is given that one should not consider that he engaged materially, but it is just given prakruto yatha. So people have a lot of envy that Krishna is trying to be a materialist with all these women and wives, so many wives, etc. It appears to be Reme Sri Ratna Kutasto Bhagavan Prakruto Yatha. Just like a materialist enjoy with women, that one should not consider him, that Krishna is like them, like one of them. That is the main point of this verse. This one you read, service.
Service is pervertedly represented in the material world and broken untimely, resulting in sad experience. The illusion living being conditioned by material nature cannot understand out of ignorance that all our relations here in the mundane world are temporary and full of inabilities.
So we are all trying to serve, but Prabhupada is making the point. We cannot be satiated, we cannot be happy with any kind of service except the service of the Lord. What is the verse? Bhaja Huriyamana, what is the first stanza? Next one.
Shita Atapa.
Sita Tapa Vatavarishana Edina Jamini Jagire Vifale Sevino Grupana Durjana Chapala Sukalabha Lagire. So he's saying Chapala Sukalabha Lagire, just for the sake of a flickering happiness, I am serving Vifala Sevino, Vifala, without any, I was serving all these wicked men, all the wicked men in the sense that all the six enemies I am serving, but I am not satisfied at all. My dear Lord, I am trying to serve you now. I want to serve you. So Prabhupada is glorifying here the service aspect of the queens here. That's why that point came, that we need to seek shelter of the Lord, service, render service to the Lord. That point is mentioned here. Okay, now, till now, the exchanges are mentioned. Now, the transcendental nature of Supreme Lord is glorified by Sudha Goswami. Though all these verses mention about the queens and trying to enjoy their beauty, etc. But what is the nature of the Supreme Lord? He is trying to be Prakruta. Is he Prakruta? So that verse is saying, Na Prakruto Yatha. Reme Stri Ratna Kutasto Bhagavan Prakruto Yatha. Is trying to enjoy a material platform. How can Krishna be beyond matter when he enjoys sense objects with his senses? That question may arise. So his transcendental nature is glorified now. Uddhama bhava pishunama valguhasa vidavaloka nihato madanopi yasam sammuhya chapamajaha pramadodamasta yasyendriyam vimatitum kohokairna sekuhu.
Although the queen's beautiful smiles and furtive glances were all spotless and exciting, and although they could not conquer Cupid himself by making him give up his bow in frustration, and although even the tolerant Shiva could fall victim to them. Still, despite all their magical feats and attractions, they could not agitate the senses of the Lord.
Yeah, though it appears to be he's enjoying, he's trying to enjoy, but the nature of the Lord is mentioned here. What is the nature of the Lord? Yasyendriyam vimatitum kohokairna sekuhu. They could not agitate, or they could not disturb, or they could not draw his attention, not agitate, but we can say that they could not draw the attention of the Lord by their kohokairna seku, by their magical feats. Prabhupada translated kohokai, magical feats are their gestures. So that is the position of the Lord. Though they are trying to attract the Lord, but they could not. What is their position? Their position, their gestures are such that even Madan, who is Madan? Cupid himself gave up his bow by seeing their queens, their gestures and their glances and smiles. So he thought, I will try to instigate the passion in them. So he thought, he brought his bow and arrows to Dwaraka, and he has his own Ikshu Dhanu. That Dhanu is there with him and flower arrows. So he's trying to shoot. Before shooting, only just by seeing their smiles and glances and gestures, he out of frustration, he fell down. He gave up his bow. Madanopiyasam sammuhya chapam ajihat pramadottamasta sammuhya chapam. He gave up his bow. And that is the nature of the glances and smiles of the queens. But still, they also with their these furtive glances, they could not draw attention, or they could not disturb the Lord. So that is the position of the Lord. Yasyendriyam vimatitam kohokairna sekuh. So that is the transcendental position of the Lord. Is glorified in this verse. So he cannot be because he is the Supreme Lord, and as definitely, but he can be conquered only by love, not by any kind of other gestures or amorous postures. So this verse answers that how can Krishna be beyond matter when he is enjoying sense objects with his senses? No, he's not at all enjoying in the senses, material senses. But because Madana could not make his presence there, that's why he's not enjoying materially. Because Cupid is not present, that's why it is not material there. There is only a spiritual reciprocations. Because Madana, Sammuhya Chapam, he gave up. He is not present there at all. He could not enter at all at their reciprocations. That's why Krishna is not enjoying at all materially. So these are the two understandings that the queens, Kohokairna Sekuhu, that with their deceptive gestures, they could not conquer the Lord. Kohokair. How? They could attract the Lord's attention by their love, not by their feminine gestures. That is one meaning. That is one understanding, that only the love attracts the Lord, not the gestures. That's why Kohokair na sekuhu. Though they are trying to express various feelings, but if they don't have that kind of love, they could not attract the Lord. So this just to give a comparison between the love of different queens. That is explained that Krishna is reciprocating according to the love of the each queen. Just like if some queens are trying to imitate the main queens, the Ashtasakis. Sorry, not Ashtasakis. Ashta Ranis, queens. So if some are trying to imitate them, okay, we will also be like Rukmini, or we will also be like Satyabhama and trying to imitate their gestures. But when they are trying to imitate the gestures and draw the attention of the Lord, but Lord is not attracted by that gestures, because they don't have that kind of love. They are trying to imitate their principal queens, but they don't have that kind of love, because Lord is reciprocates only with the love. So they could not, in that sense, they could not draw the attention. Kohokair na sekuhu. So this is also another way of understanding Kohokai Nasekuhu. They could not draw the attention because definitely they are all very intimate to the Lord Himself, intimate to the Lord, but because the love is also gradations are there in the queens, with all the queens. So those who have less intensity in love, though they are trying to imitate the higher queens, the Mukhya Ranis, but they could not attract the attention of the Lord. But definitely, Lord reciprocated according to the love of their reciprocations. But he's not at all attracted to, but just by the feminine gestures, but only by love. That's why the Kuhokai Nasekuhu, the two meanings are given. That is, Lord is only attracted by the love, not by any kind of gestures, feminine gestures or smiles, etc. Kohokai Nasekuhu. So in that way, Lord is not at all disturbed or agitated, the Supreme Lord's in the association. Prabhupada talks from the this point here, he makes that point. It's not at all on a bodily relation, but it is on transcendental platform. It's all about not about at all between relationship between man and woman or male and female, but it's all relationship between based on love. That's what Prabhupada explains here. Right, read this one, blue one.
Therefore, the queens could not satisfy the Lord by their feminine attractiveness, but they satisfied him by their sincere affection and service.
Kohokai Nasekuhu is this meaning. This is the one meaning. Prabhupada is reflecting the commentary also. They could not satisfy by their feminine attractiveness, but by satisfied by their sincere affection and service. Read the yellow line.
Only by unalloyed transcendental loving service could they satisfy the Lord, and the Lord was pleased to treat them as wives in reciprocation. But thus, being satisfied by their unalloyed service only, the Lord reciprocated the service just like a devoted husband. Otherwise, he had no business becoming the husband of so many wives. He is the husband of everyone, but to one who accepts him as such, he reciprocates.
Okay, text 37. So that's how he answered that. Is the Lord is enjoying materially the senses? No, not at all. And they could not they could not draw attention or disturb the Lord. That means he is not. There is no mundane cupid there in their exchanges. That's why he is beyond the material enjoyment. He should not be counted as a materialist enjoying. Prakruto yatha. Yatha is mentioned. 37. Tamayam mannate loko hi asangam api sanginam atmopamanyena manujam vyaprunvanam yato buddha.
The common materialistic conditioned souls speculate that the Lord is one of them. Out of their ignorance, they think that the Lord is affected by the matter, although he is unattached.
Although he is unattached. Who will say that he is enjoying materially? Only unintelligent people, only foolish people, foolish mundane wranglers misunderstand the Supreme Lord and spread their foolish imaginations amongst innocent persons by propaganda. So not only they are foolish, but they are enthusiastic. So that's a very dangerous position. Though they are foolish, but if they are enthusiastic to spread the message, then only misunderstanding spreads. And what is the proof that he is not just an ordinary person? Prabhupada gives many reasons that based on Shastra, also based on logic, that he is he's not just enjoying materially, but he is the Supreme Lord himself. Various points he mentions. Because all speculators misunderstand his position. They consider impersonal Brahman as the supreme. Because they are under modes and they are thinking that he is also under modes. That is one point. But he gives example of sun. Sun is not affected by any infectious matter. Compare everything from their standard point of experimental knowledge of own self and poor fund of knowledge. So in this way, only unintelligent people think that he is enjoying materially. So that's the main point. That but Lord is not material person. So now he establishes the supremacy of the Lord by this verse. Etadishanamishasya prakrutistopi tadgunai na yujyate sadatmastair yata buddhistadashrayah.
This is the divinity of the personality of Godhead. He is not affected by the qualities of matter nature, even though he is in contact with them. Similarly, the devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord do not become influenced by the material qualities.
Yeah, I will take 5 minutes to complete. So, yeah, the Sutta Goswami is saying, yeah, that's the same Lord, what you are talking. Etat Ishanam Ishasya. This is the divinity of the Lord. Etat Ishanam Ishasya, that divinity of the divine Lord. What is the divinity? Prakriti stopi tat gunai. Though he is in contact with Prakriti and modes, na yujate, he is not affected, he is not engaged in material modes. See, he is giving an example, not example, a comparison. What to speak of Lord, those who have taken that intelligence which takes shelter of the Lord is not affected by the modes. And what to speak of the Lord himself? If the intelligence which is taking shelter of the Lord, yatha buddhist dashraya, if that intelligence is not affected by the modes, then what to speak of Lord himself? So that is the, in that way, Sutta Goswami is establishing the divinity of the Lord. So Prabhupada explains the beautiful concept of divinity, na yujate. So, well, let us agree that Lord's pastimes with the woman are non-material because the woman belong to Chit Shakti. Okay, you are saying all the queens are not material, Chit Shakti. Okay, agreed. But what happened? But he appeared in the material Yadu family, in the material world, and perceived with his senses material objects such as form and sound belonging to demons like Jarasandha, who are in material nature, who are material. Therefore, it cannot be denied that he is associated with the gunas. That may be the argument, right now. Okay, you are saying that queens are Chishakti. Okay, what happened when he was in Mathura and he is dealing with all these material people, just like Jarasandha? Right, all the demons are not the devotees. Whenever Lord plays the pastimes, like Kamsa and all, his devotee. I mean, they are playing a part. They're like Shishupal, Dantavakra, etc. They may be playing the parts. They are devotees, but not many of them. Not all. Especially Jarasandha demons. But by killing them, Lord gives the opportunity to them to go ahead in spiritual life. Like Putana and all, they are not at all his servants, but he gave the position of servant, Krishna. That is the mercy of the Lord. So the question is raised that why, if he is dealing with material objects, then how is that he is beyond the modes? No, this verse says that no, the divinity is etat ishanamishasa prakristopi tadgunai, because modes are not there within him. Modes are not there within him. Modes are there within him because the modes itself comes from the Lord. Modes are there within him, but they will not affect him. Just like lotus staying in the mud, but is not touched by the mud. Just like the spider may weave the web and stay in the web, but it does not get caught. That's our Supreme Lord. Though he is the source of the modes, but he is not under the modes. That we need to be understood, that we need to clarify. That though he is the source of the modes, but he is not affected by the modes. So that's how Sutta Goswami is replying that the divinity of the Lord is established. That's Prabhupada is also quoting the same point. Read the blue line.
The answer is given here. The divinity of the personality of Godhead is that he is never in contact with the qualities of material nature in any circumstances. Actually, he is in contact with such qualities because he is the ultimate source of everything. Yet, he is above the actions of such qualities. He is known therefore as Yogeshwar, or the master of mystic power, or in other words, the all-powerful.
So this is why, though he is in contact with non-believers like Jarasandha and Asuras, but still is beyond the modes. And then Prabhupada talks about whoever takes shelter of him, like 6 Mahabhagavats and 6 Goswamis who have taken shelter of him. They are also beyond the modes, and we could see practically their examples. And they are beyond the modes. Then what to speak of the Supreme Lord himself? So that point Prabhupada emphasizes here. Text 39. Tam me nire bala mudha strainam chanuvartatam raha apramana vido bhartur ishwaram matayo yatha.
The simple and delicate woman truly thought that Lord Shri Krishna, their beloved husband, followed them and was dominated by them. They were unaware of the extent of the glories of their husband, as the atheists are unaware of him as the supreme controller.
Sutta Goswami is finally saying in this way, he established the position of Supreme Lord in the last verse, Etadi Shalami Shasya. Then why is he saying, Tam menire bala mudha? All these wives, he's saying mudha. How is that? Just now he established the supremacy or the exalted nature. Then why is he saying mudha? He's saying just like these people are bewildered by material nature, and these abalas are bewildered by Yogamaya. They are bewildered by Mahamaya, and they are bewildered by Yogamaya. In that sense, he's speaking this verse. They are bewildered not by material nature, but by the supreme Yogamaya. So that's so. They also could not understand the supremacy and the glory of the Supreme Lord. Just like the example is given, the fish cannot understand the moon, right? The fishes in the ocean or river, especially the milk ocean, Prabhupada writes somewhere, glories of the Lord. So that example is given that just like they could not understand, similarly, they also could not understand the full potency of the Lord, the Dwarkavasis, because of bewildered by the Yogamaya. So in that sense, the mudha word used for them, it's not in a negative term. Negatively they are affected, mudha, but the transcendental position, bewildered. That's why they could not also comprehend the glories of the Lord. Read the first para.
Even the transcendental wives of Lord Shri Krishna did not know completely the unfathomable glories of the Lord. This ignorance is not mundane because there is some action of the internal potency of the Lord in the exchange of feelings between him and his eternal associates.
Yeah, so the potency Yogamaya is acting. Prabhupada is saying here also. The internal potency Yogamaya effect, that's why they also could not understand the glories of the Lord. And then Prabhupada glorifies the position of the devotees. Lord, read this one, the wives of Lord Krishna.
The wives of Lord Krishna were made to forget the immeasurable glories of the Lord by the internal potency, so that there might not be any flaw of exchange. And they took it for granted that the Lord was a henpecked husband, always following them in lonely places. In other words, even the personal associates of the Lord do not know him perfectly well. So what do the thesis writers or mental speculators know about the transcendental glories of the Lord?
Last one.
But since the dealings of the Lord with his wives are based on pure transcendental love and devotion, the wives are all on the transcendental plane without material contamination.
Thus ends
the Bhakti purports of the first canto, 11th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Lord Krishna's Entrance into Dwarka.
Yadra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, to pause here. I'm extremely grateful to all of you for tolerating me from last 5 days and giving me opportunity to absorb something from Srimad Bhagavatam. Please forgive me if I spoke anything unbefitting or in a more intolerable way. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So let us thank His Grace Keshava Prabhu for so beautifully preparing, hard working for so many days. And Prabhuji's own classes are going on actually, but he took out so much of his valuable time from his services and other classes, his own studies for all of us. And preparing for Vishnu Thakur and the Acharyas and my lectures and many more things, sharing this in his relation very beautifully here. So let us very heartily thank Broji by one time Lordly chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So as all of you must have seen the mail, because we have got little less time this time also, the next session is going to be from 15th to 19th of July, next month. And the submission for the CBA and OBA will be next 10 days only. So there is less time only. So 10th will be the last day for the OBA. And I believe you can see the mail once more. Around 11th is the exam of CBA. So devotees can accordingly complete their assignments and do the needful. And because after that Janmashtami also, we need to cover another unit before Janmashtami. So this time little bit in 15 days period only units will come. So devotees can plan the things accordingly. Hare Krishna.
Just wanted to add one point about Prabhuji's hard work. Apart from his unparalleled devotion, one day his night 9:30 called me. His word file got corrupted, so we tried many things. It was not working. Then I asked what he'll do. I said, "You speak already or realized, so much. You don't make notes." He said, "No, no, no. I'll make notes and speak." So and next day was class. I don't know what time is left, and it was so many pages. I could see that. So much hard work devoted that. Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
I'll send a mail to you. They're asking notes.
Yes, it's telling. Yes, yes. Yeah. Yes, yes.
That question you are telling means although still why they are not realizing the although we are